If you play with the fire burning inside you.
If you push harder.
If you play faster.
If your goal is domination.
If you look at me not as someone to emulate,
but someone to one day eclipse. Then I designed this racket for you.
And I hope it takes you as far as it's taken me.
8 starters and a first-round offensive lineman to the NFL each of the past 2 years. Now, my spotlight, the guy that I'm looking for today, is Christian Wilkins. He lines up inside at tackle. He lines up outside and in to create matchup problems, and we'll even see him on the offensive side of the football. He and Dexter Lawrence form what Clemson calls the jumbo package on the goal line. That's 700 pounds of man leading the way for Wayne Gallman.
And, Ronnie, that's not the only place he wants to make an impact offensively. He wants to be the J.J. Watt of the Clemson Tigers. He may line up out wide and catch a fade route for all we know.
The Clemson Tigers won the toss, elected to defer. So Greg Hyugel is going to kick it away to Troy and Jabir Fry and DeAndre Douglas. They are the deep men for the Trojans. They won their first game of the season last week. Clemson did the same, going on the road and winning at Auburn 19-13. Into the end zone, and that's where it'll stay. All right, it's time for the Food Line impact players when the Trojans are on offense, Dave.
When you look at their big center, sophomore, he's the guy that's starting in there for a replacing a veteran at center. He's got to make sure that he takes care of business against this expanding defensive line that Roddy Jones just talked about. And then Jordan Chun coming back from a knee injury. The first play out of the box last week against Austin Peay, he goes 48 yards for a touchdown. They're excited to have the big fella back toting the rock.
Trojans are 1-0 with a win against Austin Peay last week at home. 57-17 when they rolled up over 700 yards of total offense. Brandon Silvers, number 12 at the controls. He'll go to the ground and go up the middle, and that's Jordan Chun, a 6'1", 231-pound junior for the run. Bulwer makes the tackle, a 9-yard pickup.
Heck of a matchup. Got a 231-pound running back going against a 235-pound linebacker. And Chun, you see the power of Chun is the leader of that defense. Bulwer has to come over and really kind of ride him to the ground.
Key interception in the win against Auburn last week by Ben Bulwer, the senior from Anderson, South Carolina. This is going to be Emmanuel Thompson, and there is no gain. Well, for our Toyota impact players, Dave, on defense for the Clemson Tigers.
The guy that just made that play, Carlos Watkins, 305-pound nose tackle, just flowed down the line and made a tackle on the bubble screen. He's the only senior with a lot of young people around him. Bulwer, we just talked about, he's the leader of the defense. He comes back from that outstanding defense a year ago. And in the back end, Tankersley is the only returning starter. So a lot of new people, but here at Clemson on defense, they just reload.
Those the Food Line impact players for the Clemson Tigers on defense. It is 3rd and 1. They'll try to go up the middle. Second effort from Chun. Did not appear to get it. No gain on the play, and 4th down for the Troy Trojans.
Troy willing to roll the dice here early in the game. Tom, ball at their own 34-yard line. Looks like they're going to leave their offense on the field. Outstanding play by Lamar. Trey Lamar, one of the young players defensively for Clemson.
Troy going on 4th and 1. Flag came out.
Got the freshman to jump, Dexter Lawrence.
.57 offense, simulating a snap, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Actually, it's Farrell, the freshman, right here that's going to jump, but the center is going to kind of move the football. You saw him just tug on the football just a little bit and got Farrell, the redshirt freshman, to come across, and so the penalty goes against the Trojans as opposed to the Tigers.
So now Troy will have to punt. Ryan Kay will come in to punt. Ray McLeod will receive that punt from Ryan Kay. Kay just did get it away. McLeod's going to let it bounce. It's going to roll close to the 10 and be down near the 11 on a 55-yard punt after the pressure. Kay was able to get it away. ACC football is brought to you in HD by your local Tire Pros dealer. Win a VIP trip for 2 to the ACC Championship game at Continental Tires at TireProSweepstakes.com.
Well, what do you say about the All-American Deshaun Watson? 4,000 yards passing, 1,000 yards rushing. Those are his numbers a week ago against a really stingy and tough Auburn defense on the road at Jordan-Hare. Tough place to win. They were able to get it done. Watson looking to clean some stuff up this week.
399 yards of total offense in the win at Auburn. And Troy is able to swallow up Wayne Gallman. Time for the food line. Impact players for the Tigers on offense.
Well, Guillermo up front is the senior. He's the leader of the Union. The Union's what they call their offensive line, usually the tightest group on any football team. And then Wayne Gallman, a guy that kind of gets lost in the mix with Deshaun Watson, had 1,500 yards rushing a year ago, 9 100-yard games. Outstanding player.
Gallman with 123 yards rushing last week against Auburn. That pass is complete up near the 19. Jordan Leggett is number 16 on the catch from Deshaun Watson.
This is another one of those guys, and Leggett, number 16, just going to find that hole in the zone. Good quick throw from Watson, and now they're 3rd and short. Leggett led this team in touchdowns a year ago with 8 touchdown receptions.
They got 9 on that previous play to set up 3rd and 2. From their own 18. Watson escaping the pocket. Wants to get that first down himself. He's up to the marker, but there is a flag out at the 16-yard line.
Holding, 75 offense, 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Let's look at our food line impact players defensively for Troy. You look up front, Junior Conde, transfer from North Carolina, knows the D coordinator Vic Koenig played for him. They love his leadership, the senior. Lloyd, one of the top returning tackler on this team, was 73, part of that East Mississippi Community College tandem that comes over from that group. And then, of course, Rookard will affect the game not only at free safety, he's an outstanding return guy as well.
So the holding penalty went against the Tigers. Watson from near his own goal line wants to go deep, but it is too far for the intended receiver. That was Artavis Scott trying to break free, and it brings up 4th down. Jalen Harris is stride for stride with him, although Scott did detect some contact, did not get the marker.
Well, good job by Harris. It's a bump and run one-on-one coverage. He's one of the more explosive players in the country in Artavis Scott. So Harris stands up to the test, the junior from Dothan, Alabama.
Andy Teasdall to punt from his own end zone. The graduate student from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Rookard is the deep man. Rookard at about his 44-yard line. Waiting for the punt from Teasdall. Comes up to meet it at the Clemson 47 after a 37-yard punt. So great field position for the Troy Trojans. The road all the way to Charlotte. Today for the Tigers against the Trojans on ACC football.
Football is brought to you by Mellow Mushroom, a higher order of pizza. By your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. By Progressive Insurance. By Coke. And by Tire Pros.
Coach Dabo Swinney and the Tigers entering Memorial Stadium and Frank Howard Field, the 75th year of this facility, the home opener. Dabo Swinney has never lost a home opener. As the head coach, he is 7-0 for the Clemson Tigers. 1st and 10 for Troy and Silvers. His pass complete. And inside the 35-yard line as Thompson made the catch, but a flag did come out. 16 yards on the play. Again, there is a penalty marker.
I don't know how this ball got through Tankersley's hands. He's the leading interceptor from a year ago.
Holding, defense, number 25. That penalty decline. Go through the play, 1st down.
Now, Tankersley is the guy that they called for the hold, but boy, the ball went right through his hands. An excellent concentration by Thompson to squeeze it. When you look at Silvers, he talked about the accuracy, something that Coach Brown talked a lot about when we had a chance to visit with him before the game. And he's the second all-time leading receiver. You see it in completion percentage. But he talked about just his overall feel for the offense now, and coming into this season, and then also the ability to know who to get the football to in key situations.
There was a whistle before the start of this play from the 31 of the Tigers. Our referee is Danny Short today. Neil Brown is the head coach of the Troy Trojans, going up against Dabo Swinney, who took his program all the way to the national championship game a season ago. Second year as the head coach for Neil Brown, who faced NC State, the only other ACC opponent he has coached against to start last year, and lost to the Wolfpack. Silvers complete. That's Douglas on the catch to the far sideline, about a yard short. They picked up 9. Van Smith forced him out.
Trying to spread Clemson out. See, Clemson got away from their 4-man pass rush, went to a 3-man rush. Now they've jumped back into a 4-man line, trying to provide pressure against Silvers.
Short second down play to the end zone. And Douglas was trying to find it too far for him. Again, it was Van Smith on the coverage.
Well, again, this is pressure. You have to pressure a quarterback with the 4-man rush, and Carlos Watkins, number 94, is able to get into Silver's face enough to make me inaccurate with the throw to the corner. It's a talented young group up front. Boldware runs the show, number 10. He's the guy looking to the sideline to get the call. But it's a group up front, very young, talented. Watkins, the senior, the only one.
Just 35% on third down a season ago for the Trojans. 3rd and 1. Incomplete. Again, Douglas was the target. Ryan Carter running with Douglas. And now 4th down for Troy.
Now trying to flood the left side, offensive left side, right side for Brent Venables' defense. He calls those defensive units coming in.
It's going to be a field goal attempt for Troy from Ryan Kay, who made his only attempt last week against Austin Peay. This will be from 39 yards away to open the scoring, potentially, for Ryan Kay, the senior. And Kay puts Troy on the board. So Deshaun Watson and the Clemson offense will have a chance to respond. This is ACC football presented by Mellow Mushroom.
Said to us yesterday, you have to fit the Clemson DNA. We're looking to do it the right way, both in the classroom and out. You don't have to look any further than Deshaun Watson to talk about what they are in the classroom. Deshaun just 5 hours away from getting his degree before his fall of his junior year. It's amazing what they do off the field as well.
And that kickoff by Bratcher's going out of bounds. So let's check out our Carolina Ford keys to the game with Dave Archer.
Well, when you look at Troy, they need to get first downs. If you get first downs, Watson stays on the other sideline. He can't play, but it also allows you to get in your up-tempo offense and maybe wear down a Clemson defense that's a little bit young and a little bit hyped up. For Clemson, they want to clean up a number of things. And talking to the coaching staff yesterday, they just did not play a very clean game against Auburn. They were able to get out of there with a win. It's a tough place to play, but all that being said, they didn't feel like they played near the type of football they're supposed to play.
Deshaun Watson of the Tigers will put it in play from their own 35. And there goes Watson. Up the middle. Dancing outside. Up close to midfield for Deshaun Watson. First down and more at 13 yards.
Now, and this is an impromptu play. Watson wants to throw the ball to the outside on play action. Now he's going to throw the ball outside. Nothing there. So he just hits it straight ahead. And you see the elusiveness. Talked about Watson in the opening. He could probably be the tailback for 80% of the teams in the country.
It's time to hand it off to Gallman. Just a couple there for Gallman. Officially 3 yards on that run. For Wayne Gallman, ran for over 1,500 yards last season to set a school record in 13 touchdowns. And as Dave mentioned, 9 times he rushed for 100 yards or more for the Tigers.
And Gallman now way up here. His versatility is what also lends this offense to be as diverse in their attack.
Watson has to improvise. Just going to throw that one into the Clemson bench. Baron Poole Day provided the pressure.
Well, give Troy a ton of credit now. They're trying to spread Troy out. You saw Gallman split out way out wide outside the numbers to the wide side. Troy's doing a good job of matching up. That time, Deshaun had no place to throw it. Had to scramble and try to buy some time. Ultimately threw it away.
So far this season, just 35% on third down for the Tigers.
Yeah, 47% last year in that team that went to the national title game.
45-40 against Alabama in that championship game. Watson stands and delivers down to the 31, and it's a sliding Mike Williams.
Well, and a guy that Deshaun is so excited to have back. He was hurt a year ago in the opening game here. Just got 2 passes for a touchdown, and he was out for the rest of the year with a neck injury. You can see that they have pretty good timing.
18 yards on that play. They sling it to the sideline. Go down inside the 30. Ray McLeod on the catch.
Ray McLeod is one of those guys, when you talk to this staff here at Clemson, they feel like he might be one of the fastest, if not the fastest guy. Certainly in short areas, maybe the quickest guy that Clemson has.
Watson, complete. Scott to the 15 and finally dragged down. It's going to be another first down for the Tigers. Artavis Scott and 13 yards.
Well, you don't want Clemson to throw the ball over the top of you, so you play off, and now they throw the quick screen to the outside to Artavis Scott, and Artavis Scott is a punt returner by trade, and he looked like one there.
Deshaun Watson throwing for 248 yards last week against Auburn. Handing off to Gallman this time, twisting his way to a 4-yard gain, close to the 10-yard line. McGee had the tackle for Troy on its heels as the Tigers force their way towards the end zone, trailing 3-0 in the first. Just a little bit there for Gallman.
Good job by McGee again, folding in and getting in on the tackle on Gallman. This is a part of Clemson's team that probably gets overlooked with all the flashy stuff on the outside and the quarterback, but they really get after you up front with a power running game. You mentioned Tom Gallman, over 1,500 yards, a school record a year ago. They want to run the ball right at you.
3rd and 5 to the end zone. Incomplete as Leggett was the intended receiver. Chris Weatherspoon on coverage.
Well, it looked like he hooked him too. That's what Watson and Leggett were looking for. Little pump route to the inside. The tight end's going to be the right of your screen, just going to appear. Don't quite see it, but it looked like Witherspoon wrapped him up around the hip. That's certainly what Leggett was looking for.
We want to alert, Dave, our ACC network affiliates down the line. That next commercial position will be position number 5. Here is the field goal attempt. Hyugle, who was 2 for 2 last week against Auburn, from 26 yards away to even it up. And he's got it. Once again, we want to alert our ACC network affiliates down the line. The next commercial position will be position number 5. Field goal for the Tigers. All tied up at 3 in Death Valley. One of the best places for a pregame meal, which means it's bow time at Bojangles. Grab a big box and feed the whole group with Bojangles chicken, biscuits, fixins, and tea. Remember, it's always bow time when you're tailgating. You'll get that big bow box and enjoy some tailgating.
It was bow time for me as I drove up from Atlanta to Clemson yesterday. So always bow time.
A couple of field goals represent our scoring here in the first quarter. 10 plays on the drive. Took just about 3 minutes. Culminated in that field goal by Hyugle from 26 yards away. He is now 3 for 3 on field goal attempts in the season. Fry and Douglas await this kickoff. It's going to be Fry. Watch it sail over his head.
You know, when you talk about Clemson, we talk so much about the offense and Deshaun Watson. This has been a big-time defense the last couple of seasons under Brent Venables. And you look at the people they've lost, Tom. 6 seniors, 2 of those were NFL first-round draft picks, and then 15, they lose 6 underclassmen, 5 of those NFL draft picks. This has been an amazing program for pumping people in the National Football. You talk about B.J. Goodson, T.J. Green, Shaq Lawson, Jerron Kearse, Kevin Dodd, just off last year's defense. but they reload, and they've got a talented crew again this year.
Lawson and Dodd from last year's team combining for almost 50 tackles for loss and almost 25 sacks. Chun. That's 4 yards for Jordan Chun.
Well, this has almost become defensive line U when you talk about Clemson, and they play physical up front. They rotate as many as 9 players on their defensive front, and they are stout no matter who's in there. Big Scott Pagano, one of the more veteran players, 56 up front. He's just a junior.
From Honolulu, Hawaii, part of this defensive unit for the Tigers. As we go inside of 7 minutes to play in the first quarter. Silvers at quarterback. Quick release. Not much there as Douglas made the catch. Just 3 yards on that play.
Jadar Johnson, the safety, a guy that played a ton for him last year, played in all 15 games, just 1 start, number 18 playing safety. Ron Curse and T.J. Green playing in the National Football League, so the next man up, and it's Jadar Johnson.
20 TD passes a season ago for Silvers. He's just looking for a first down here, though, on 3rd and 4. That's Hiram Velez, number 7 in white. On the run, Flakes up the sideline near midfield. Big play for the Trojans. Andre Flakes. Johnson forced him out.
Well, it's really a jet sweep, but it counts as a completion for Silvers, which you'll love when you have a play like Flakes who can get up the field and make that kind of run. So excellent job by Troy stretching this defense sideline to sideline.
There's a whistle that stops the play from the 49 of the Trojans.
Offside. Defense number 45 with contact. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Talked about how important it is to get first downs for Coach Brown's offense, and you see Brent Venables trying to get the play in from the sideline. This is a real test. Even though they play up tempo at Clemson, it's tough to play this fast, and Troy is one of the better teams at playing this high-paced, fast offense.
So now 1st and 5 for the Trojans. Chun. He might have enough for a first down near the 41-yard line of the Tigers.
Got 3 seniors, a junior, and a sophomore up front in front of Silvers, and they're doing a nice job of creating some running lanes for this run game.
Josh Anderson runs it into the pile. No gain for Anderson.
Like another one of the rotations, Albert Hudgens comes in, the sophomore from Orangeburg, South Carolina, number 67. He's able to fold in from the defensive end spot to make the tackle.
So, Dave, there's a little bit of confusion on the field. The down marker says 2nd down. The officials have said it's 3rd and 1. And the sticks have not moved.
Well, they've run 2 plays since, like you said, since the sticks have moved, and they have now changed the down marker to 3rd down. 3rd and about the length of the football here.
It's a very short one for the Trojans and head coach Neil Brown.
Coach Brown was upset that the fact that the play clock had wound down on them. They didn't think they were going to get the play off.
Clock will start on my ready.
Second-year head coach Neil Brown. Also an assistant at Kentucky and Texas Tech. Played collegiately at UMass in Amherst, Massachusetts, in the western part of the state. Big 3rd and 1. Snap is high to Chun. And he's going to lose yardage on the play. Back to the 48, Van Smith. A loss of 6.
Maybe a little bit too cute here, Tom. Instead of maybe just running the quarterback sneak on 3rd and short, they motion Silvers out, and they go to a wildcat, and the snap is too high for Chun to handle. And all Clemson needs is a moment to get up to speed, and there's a number of Tiger tacklers around the football.
Christian Wilkins, number 42, also there. Sophomore from Springfield, Massachusetts. So now it's 4th and 7.
Well, there's always a few plays in every game that I know coaches and players look back and say, man, I wish I could have done that one over. That might be one right there that Coach Neil Brown is going to look back at and say, you know what? We might have got a little too cute for ourselves.
Delay offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So that's the word from Danny Short, and that goes against the Trojans. That'll push Ryan Kay, the punter, back. Ray McLeod is going to receive this punt. Standing at his 14-yard line. Low kick from Kay. Bouncing close to the 20 and now inside it. And right at the 18 on a 35-yard punt from Kay. No return. So we'll have the Tigers on offense when we come back. What a day. The home opener at Memorial Stadium, and we'll be back after a word from your local ACC station. You're watching ACC football, presented by Mellow Mushroom. Troy and Clemson, fantastic crowd for the home opener. Tigers have won 16 in a row at home. That is a school record and second best in all of the football bowl subdivision, only behind Florida State, which has won 21 in a row. Could be 22 as they take on Charleston Southern today. The numbers for Watson as they go on 1st and 10. It's going to be Choice. And he is dropped. Chris Weatherspoon in the backfield to blow it up, and a loss of 3.
Adam Choice redshirted a year ago, but this is a kid that's got pretty good bloodlines. You remember Deshard Choice at Georgia Tech and then on to the National Football Coach. Joe Burns is his uncle, but outstanding player that they feel like is a key backup to Dwayne Gallman.
Watson back to his left. And again, he has to toss it out of bounds into that Troy bench area. And just like that, it's 3rd and 13.
Well, Troy winning up front, Roddy, right now. But when you talk about Choice, tell me about what you think of him.
Natural runner, a more natural runner than even Wayne Gallman. I played with Tashard Choice, who Adam Choice is related to, and you talk about patience and vision. I know Tashard has told Adam a lot about those two things, which is why he's such a natural runner.
On 3rd down, Watson has the time. There's the pass and the catch up near the 45. It is incomplete. Incomplete. Right near the 45. Kane ran under it, had it for a moment.
A bump and run coverage. This is a well thrown ball by Deshaun Watson, right on the money, and that's one Kane's got to reel in. Just a catch you have to make. Just could not hang on. Good tight coverage though by Troy. Those are the kind of plays he's going to need to make for his quarterback. A little bit disconjointed now offensively for Clemson, having a tough time blocking Troy, not giving Watson enough time to sort things out.
It was Jalen Roundtree who made the play defensively as Teasdall hits one off to the right, and that's going to bounce out of bounds near midfield. So again, the Trojans will have excellent field position, a 36-yard punt. All right, here are our Coca-Cola ACC standings as we reflect back to the 2015 season. The Clemson Tigers undefeated 8-0 in conference play, and that included, Dave, a victory against Florida State. Oh yeah, they have a pretty big game coming up October 29th.
Yeah, it's in Louisville. Don't forget about Louisville.
Yes.
How good did they look last night? And Lamar Jackson and what he's bringing to the table. We'll sleep on NC State as well. They've got a talented crew. North Carolina, of course, got off to a tough start against Georgia. You got Miami, Pittsburgh, Duke, Virginia Tech, who we saw last week. So they have a big game tonight against Tennessee. So could be anybody out of that division, the other side of the division.
Silvers gets rid of it. Complete inside the 25. DeAndre Douglas up top to make the catch.
Well, it's a well-thrown ball by Silvers with defenders in his face. We talked about his ability to be accurate. Pagano lays the boom to Silvers, but how about the accuracy on the throw and then the concentration to make the catch on the back end? Outstanding catch by DeAndre Douglas.
A 30-yard connection between Silvers and Douglas. Ball at the 21 of the Tigers as we go inside of 2 minutes of the first period. And a slight delay. The play never develops, and Chun is dropped. Kendall Joseph is number 34 and a loss of 2.
Joseph steps in at that middle linebacker spot. We talked about B.J. Goodson moving on to the National Football League. Before him, Stephon Anthony played middle linebacker. Now it's Kendall Joseph's opportunity, the redshirt sophomore. Played in 7 games a year ago, but mainly on special teams. He now steps in at linebacker.
2nd and 12 for Troy. Silvers incomplete. He's looking for a slashing Emmanuel Thompson.
I think it's safe to say, Tom, that Troy has Clemson's attention. They may have already had their attention, but Coach Neil Brown's team came in here loose, ready to play. They warmed up really loose before the game. Looked like they were excited to be in the building, and they are giving Clemson all they want right now.
Silvers had a couple of TD passes in the win against Austin Peay last week to open the season for Troy. Now 3rd and 12.
This is where Silvers needs to be careful with the ball. Clemson will be trying to heat up the pass rush, and we're going to get a timeout.
So the Trojans decide to take a timeout on this 3rd down play. Time to go around the ACC. It's presented by Mattress Firm. Busy day. And Pittsburgh out in front of Penn State the first time they've met in 16 years to renew that rivalry. East Carolina, NC State as well into the 2nd quarter, Dave.
Well, cool to see Florida State out quick too, but good to see James Conner, the Terminator, back last week. And then coming up later on today, we'll be at Georgia Tech next week as they take on SEC's Vandy. How about the big game in Bristol, the battle in Bristol? Virginia Tech, Tennessee, and of course Virginia got to go all the way out to the West Coast to Eugene to take on the Ducks.
Dave, how about 150,000 people, Bristol Motor Speedway? We saw Virginia Tech last week and Gerard Evans throw 4 touchdown passes in that opening week victory against Liberty at Lane Stadium for the Hokies.
Yeah, he looked good, and so does Silvers so far today for Troy. We talked about his accuracy. Done a nice job so far taking care of the ball, and that'll be the big thing here. Clemson trying to come after him with 4-man pass rush potentially. He's got to take care of the ball.
Silvers 6 of 9 for 76 yards here on 3rd down. This play's going nowhere. It's a pile of orange jerseys as Fry gets swarmed under. Dexter Lawrence, number 90, right there, and they lose 4.
6'5", 340 pounds is Lawrence. He's number 90 right here, playing the nose tackle position. Just blows up the play. They're trying to run a draw play. Kermity, the center, didn't take enough out of Lawrence.
Lawrence with 10 tackles.
How about that? A nose tackle with 10 tackles from Wake Forest, North Carolina.
A 19-13 win on the road at Auburn. That's what Dabo Swinney told us. Those tough games at the beginning of the season build championship teams. Right here, though, Troy has a chance to take the lead. 44-yard field goal attempt from Ryan Kay, who's already made one. It's a bad snap, and the Trojans can only cover at the 35.
Boy, opportunities for Troy here early in the game. They had the blown snap on the 3rd and short play, and now a blown snap on a field goal attempt. Really wasting away opportunities against the number 2 team in the country.
Caleb Barker, one of the backup quarterbacks, had no choice but to fall on that football, so no chance to send that 44-yarder on its way for Ryan Kay. The Tigers will take over.
Would not be surprised right here to see a shot taken by Clemson. Usually after a turnover or something bad happening to the other team, you take a shot. Here's Williams at the top.
Watson pursued and dropped at the 27. A sack for the Trojans. Statham made the sack, and the Tigers lost 8.
Boy, that's exactly what they want to do. They were going double move, hitch and go on the outside for Watson. Watch the little pump fake. Little pump right there. He wanted to go deep, but Statham came clean immediately through the middle and put the Heisman Trophy candidate on the ground.
And that will be the last play of the first quarter. Safe to say, a surprising score after the first 15 minutes. The 50th anniversary of Howard's Rock. But this one is all tied up at 3 in Clemson.
Second quarter here in Death Valley. Clemson and Troy tied at 3. And when we caught up with Troy head coach Neil Brown earlier in the week, he told us that he has such a young team that he's not sure if they knew what they were walking into and how good this Clemson football team was. But he didn't know if that ignorance was good or bad. Well, it seems like early in this football game, it's been a good thing. And that says a lot coming from the 4th youngest head coach in FBS football.
Scott on the edge. Muscles his way up past the 35-yard line.
You know, finishing up with what Roddy just was talking about, just 15 seniors on this team. It's the 14th fewest in the country. Couple that with, as he just mentioned, the 4th youngest head football coach. Absolutely.
3rd and 8. Watson flushed out of that pocket again. Look at the pursuit from the Trojans. 3 and 4 white jerseys bearing down on Watson, and a penalty marker has come out.
Boy, this offensive line is having a really tough time handling Clemson's front four, Troy's front floor. This looks like a holding penalty potentially against Clemson.
There are multiple fouls on the play. Illegal substitution on the defense. Holding on the offense. Those penalties are all set. Repeat the down.
Wow, you don't really want to give Deshaun Watson another opportunity. Right here, maybe the hold right there on Akande. Deshaun takes care of the ball and gets out of bounds. But the illegal substitution for Troy gives Clemson another opportunity. And Tom, we've been talking about this, the little mistakes, the bad snaps, and now to give Clemson one more opportunity on 3rd down, come back to haunt you a little bit. If you look at the first quarter stats, the two teams combined 2 for 9 on 3rd down, defensive game.
3rd down situation for Deshaun Watson, the junior from Gainesville, Georgia, working out of that shotgun for the Tigers. The release intercepted at midfield, picked off and down the sidelines for Troy. Jalen Roundtree is number 22, Dave.
Yeah, and he just sits in zone. I'm not sure Deshaun Watson saw the coverage, but when you're heating the quarterback up, his decision-making tends to speed up a little bit. Didn't let the play develop. Roundtree's sitting there waiting for the football, almost as though Watson was playing catch with Roundtree. Now Deshaun's got to go make a tackle. And look at the opportunity for Troy. Boy, you hear an uneasiness here in Death Valley as the Clemson fans aren't used to seeing the mistakes.
25-yard return off of the interception from Roundtree, his first of the season. So from the 26 for Troy, and Brandon Silvers remains in the game.
Man coverage across the board for Clemson. You can see them all up tight.
Deflected at the line and intercepted. Tigers get the football right back. Jalen Williams.
He's sitting in this perfect spot for the play. Just a tip ball. He's going to try to take advantage of man coverage across the board, but Wilkins gets his hands in the air and bats the ball right into the arms of the waiting linebacker. Williams just scoops it up and takes off with a little escort from Wilkins, but nice play by Wilkins. Couldn't get there. It was a short drop, quick throw. Get your hands in the air, try to create a tough throwing lane, and Wilkins did that.
4th interception of the season for Williams. This is the best starting field position of the game so far for the Tigers. On their own 37. It's going to be Scott trying to swing it around the edge. Dodges a couple of Trojans. The ball was on the turf, and he got it back as we go to our Charlotte studios, and Katie with him.
Tom, we head out to East Carolina. Stan, it has been a back-and-forth game. The Wolfpack heard you. Absolutely. You got Ryan Finley, quarterback, comes in, 80-yard pass to Stephen Lewis, and that is a house call. In honor of Randy Moss's son being in NC State, we're going to call that a Randy.
Northleaf's coaching from the studio now. How about that? Making calls, and obviously made the right call. Nice job, Stan.
Looking forward to the halftime comments from Stan and Coach Tommy Bowden. Katie with him hosting in our Charlotte studios. After the run by Gallman, he gets it back on a pass. First down play, he goes out of bounds into Troy territory.
Really impressed with how Troy's running sideline to sideline defensively. Talked to Vic Koenig, the defensive coordinator at Troy. Asked him about the speed that Clemson plays. Well, his offense plays the same speed, so they're very accustomed to having to line up quickly, stretching sideline to sideline, and they look very comfortable here in the first quarter plus.
Second down play through the hands of Ray McLeod at the sideline.
We talked about Vic Koenig, longtime defensive coordinator. Was it here at Clemson? An outstanding coach at North Carolina. Linebacker, played against Vic. He was at Kansas State as a linebacker, tough guy. Does an outstanding job.
Defensive coordinator here in Clemson from 2005 to 2008 under our good buddy Tommy Bowden.
Well, he talked reverently about Tommy Bowden, did he not?
Very kind words to say, and I have to agree. Although I had to spend 3 years with him in the studio, so I got to know him pretty well. This one deflected, and it hits the turf near midfield.
Trying to check the ball down to Wayne Gallman. Nothing going on downfield. He got pressure in his face. Gallman had just turned around. Gallman blocking for the quarterback, just going to turn around. So he's just trying to dump him the football, and he hits one of his own linemen in the back. Looked like Taylor Hearn, the left guard, got in the way of the throw and kept Gallman from catching the football. Boy, very disjointed first quarter and 3 minutes here for Clemson on offense.
Rookard waiting for the punt from Teasdall. Watson's numbers so far, Dave, 7 of 15 through the air and 63 yards as the Tigers punt this one. It's going to bounce at the 1 and go into the end zone. 47-yard punt. There is a timeout on the field. This is ACC football presented by Mellow Mushroom. Troy and Clemson tied at 3.
ACC football is brought to you by New York Life, official corporate champion of the ACC. By Coyote Tractor. By Hardee's. And by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Tiger fans so excited for this home opener. You know, the Tigers have been on the road a lot, Dave, when you go back to the end of last season. This is their third straight opponent from the state of Alabama. And Troy has had some good field position to start. Here they'll be at their own 20. And Caleb Barker, now the coaching staff told us they would go to the backup quarterbacks. Sure enough, here's Caleb Barker in the second quarter. Right up the middle. It appears to be first down yardage out beyond the 30-yard line, 12 yards on the run. It's Caleb Barker, the freshman.
Yeah, the freshman, Decatur, Alabama, Priceville High School, 4,300 total yards his senior year for Barker. Outstanding runner. They wanted to get all three of their quarterbacks in. I think you mentioned earlier, Tom, Barker now in for Silvers. Outstanding runner.
So Barker, who had a touchdown run of 50 yards in the opening game of the season. Now Sawyer Smith has come in at quarterback number 3 as he hands it off. This is Josh Anderson with the run. He picks up 8 yards. But again, we've seen 2 different quarterbacks in the last 2 plays, Dave.
Anderson had a touchdown run a week ago. I think everybody ran for a touchdown for Troy last week against Austin Peay, as it turns out. But Anderson with a nice run there on first down. And now all of a sudden what we saw happening when Clemson has the ball, with Troy's defensive line winning the line of scrimmage, now all of a sudden Troy's offensive line trying to take control a little bit in the run game.
Sawyer Smith, number 3, is in at quarterback. 47-yard TD pass in the game against Austin Peay. He has his receiver Thompson, number 8. It's going to be another first down. They got 4 yards on that pass play.
It's a good catch by Thompson, too. The ball was thrown a little bit to the backside. but a good catch by Thompson. Little uneasiness here, Roddy.
You're exactly right, Archer. When we talked to head coach Neil Brown, he said that with 2 freshmen backup quarterbacks, they wanted to get them some experience early. But the offense changes with these 2 guys in the game. With Silvers in the game, they're a spread team that throws the ball all over a yard. With these 2 guys, it's more of a spread option team, zone read.
And there's an interception right there at the 45-yard line. Kendall Joseph twisting in the air, and he's got the second pick of the game for the Tigers.
Well, and that may be why, as Roddy was just talking about, zone read, running the football a little bit. You got 2 young quarterbacks that have not seen college-type coverages, but Joseph, the linebacker, the new middle linebacker here at Clemson. What an athletic play that was in a ball that should never have been thrown. That was into coverage, freshman mistake there to push that ball into the middle of the Clemson defense. Big play by Kendall Joseph.
Joseph, who had 14 tackles and 3 for a loss in the win against Auburn and a sack, has his first interception of the season, and the Tigers get the football back at their own 46-yard line. So back and forth between these 2 teams with the turnovers most recently. 1st and 10. Quick trigger. Wide open. McLeod dusts a man at the 40 and bounces out inside the 35. Ray McLeod on the catch for Clemson.
Well, Ray McLeod, outstanding running back when he was in high school at Sickles High School in Tampa, Florida. Ran for over 2,100 yards his senior year. And here's some of that running back. Just dropped his shoulder on Jalen Harris, the corner.
20 yards on that play after that collision on the edge. And now the flip to Fuller. He's going to lose a yard on that play. C.J. Fuller.
Good quick force by Melton, the corner. Number 4 came up. Marshall was able to come in and help make the tackle, but a good job by by Melton, the corner, against Fuller.
Keep in mind the Tigers have won 38 straight games against unranked opponents. And Watson fires. It is deflected up in the air at the 40. Nankande with a piece of it. He's the transfer from North Carolina.
And Baron Poole is going to drop the hammer on Deshaun Watson, number 97, the interior defensive lineman for Troy.
Our 1st and 10 line brought to you by the North Carolina Education Lottery. It's celebrating their 10th anniversary and over $4 billion raised for education. Watson has all day. Toward the end zone. Diving grab. It is a touchdown. Hunter Renfrow. What a catch in the end zone for the Tigers.
Boy, Renfrow a little late to get up. Hopefully he's okay, which it looks like he is. They're still looking at him down there. He's still down on the field. Look at Renfrow lay out here. Watch the right foot. Looks like it's obviously very close. I think I see green between the toe and the white line. What a play by Renfrow. His emergence as this security blanket for Deshaun Watson. Made the big catch a week ago against Auburn for the touchdown. Had 2 touchdowns against Alabama in the national title game. How about this catch from the former walk-on? We only hope that he's okay because he's still down over in that side as we look very closely. Watson's eyes immediately look for number 13 as he skated out of the pocket.
Renfrow made that key catch late in the game against Auburn.
He is up and moving towards the Clemson sideline.
Touchdown last week, a touchdown today for Hunter Renfrow. The play is being reviewed.
I just didn't see anything on our replay there that would indicate that Renfrow is out of bounds. Certainly looks like there's some green between the toe and the sideline for Renfrow. Crowd reacting here as they see the replay on the big board here at Memorial Stadium.
Our referee is Danny Short. Our replay official is Jack Kramer. The play under review. Hunter Renfrow. What a catch. Totally outstretched.
How about the 2 playoff games for Hunter Renfrow a year ago? Oklahoma and Alabama had 11 catches for 147 yards and 3 touchdowns in the biggest moments for Clemson. And, of course, came up big last week, as you just mentioned, against Auburn. And it looks like maybe he is going to be the guy that maybe get this Clemson team started today.
After further review, the play on the field stands as called. Touchdown.
So it is a 35-yard pass play. Deshaun Watson to Hunter Renfrow. Dabo Sweeney told us he is a card-carrying member of Renfro Nation, is what he said yesterday in our extended meetings in his office, and he just loves what that young man has been able to do in his Clemson career, just a sophomore from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Yeah, walked on in 2014, and as you see the extra point split the uprights, was put on scholarship in August of 2015.
Deshaun Watson and the Tigers have the TD 10-3 here at Memorial Stadium. Watching the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports, also streaming live on the ACC.com and on the official ACC mobile app. Today's coverage of ACC football being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network. We welcome the men and women of the U.S. Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, and Marines stationed around the globe in 175 countries and on the high seas. So proud to have you with us and hope you're enjoying the broadcast. 10-3 now. The Tigers have taken the lead. Hunter Renfrow, fourth straight game with a TD grab. Deshaun Watson has now gone 18 straight games with a touchdown pass. Fry and Douglas are deep. This is Fry, 5 yards deep, but he's staying there. Let's go to the studio and update on Pittsburgh and Penn State.
That's right, Tom. We head out to Heinz Field. Pitt with an early lead, and Coach, they continue to add more.
Pitt's got goal line personnel. Penn State anticipating inside run. George Aston on the outside. Ball comes out after he crosses the goal line. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
And they just added another one. So Pitt on top of Penn State, 28-14. Tom, Dave?
One of those teams, Katie and Coach, that they were talking about, maybe one of the dark horses in the ACC, certainly in the Coastal Division. Pat Narduzzi's team laying the wood right now to their cross-state rival.
97th meeting between Penn State and Pittsburgh. First since 2000 between those two programs. Anderson hits a roadblock. They'll lose yardage.
Important for Troy to try to continue to run the ball, but an outstanding job. Lawrence, the freshman, playing that nose tackle spot at 340 pounds. Just a load to handle. Boy, are they excited about him as this defensive line just continues to reload. We talked about the missed opportunities for Troy. Tom lost the ball on downs, throwing the ball a couple interceptions, got a bad snap on the field goal.
Second and 11. Chun. He'll get two. Bring up third and long.
Well, Christian Wilkins played defensive tackle a year ago. They've moved him to the outside now, and he's one of those heavy-handed guys that's tough to handle. 310 pounds playing the edge. Springfield Mass guy, Tom.
Home of the National Basketball Association Hall of Fame. I used to work out there in the early days of my television career, Dave. And Christian said he used to watch the station I worked for. But
he got your autograph.
He had not been born when I was working there. So here's third down. Over the middle and complete, short of the markers. That's John Johnson, number 2 on the catch. But it is going to be a little bit short, maybe a couple yards short for the Trojans. They got 7 on that play.
Well, and Troy has not been shy about saying they're going to go, and here we are again at the 34. They're going to go at it again.
4th and 1. Chun, the running back, to the right of the quarterback, Brandon Silvers.
Maybe try to pull Clemson off.
Play clock down to 7.
Going to try to pull them off. This is all a ploy to try to pull Clemson offside. They're not going to be able to do it.
And Troy took a timeout there with just 8:02 remaining in the second quarter. So the attempt by Neil Brown and his coaching staff to draw the Tigers offside, unsuccessful. And it's 4th down again. This time, though, a sure punt coming up
Well, this is Troy. This is time where you, as a coach, you could come in with potentially your punt unit and have your fake in place. It'll be interesting to see if Dabo Swinney keeps his defense on the field, thinking maybe there's still a chance they'll go.
Dave, the AP Top 25 is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. 2 of the top 3, these Tigers and the Florida State Seminoles, were playing Charleston Southern this week, but then they have to go to Louisville next week.
Well, Lamar Jackson has had 2 unbelievable weeks. I know it was much to your chagrin we had to watch your Syracuse Orange.
That's okay. They hung tough for a while, Dave, but Louisville was just too strong.
Lamar Jackson is amazing. Talked a little bit about the comparison to what he is and maybe Michael Vick. I think he's a more accomplished passer at the college level than Vick ever was, and he certainly has elusive. But look at the numbers of Lamar Jackson. 13 touchdowns, more than every team in the FBS.
So now Troy has come out on 4th and 1. Looks like they're going to try to go for it again. Now a whistle stops the action.
Play clock had gotten low. I think they're going to have to reset the play clock. I think that's what the conversation is here. And you'll blame Coach Brown. I mean, this is an opportunity at the number 2 team in the country. Now you are playing well defensively. So that may be the one question you have here is, would you punt and let your defense continue to play at the level they've played so far?
Looks like the Trojans are going to go for it on 4th and 1. Before the timeout, they tried to draw the Tigers offside and let that play clock get way down. Now it's going inside of 10. Here's the play. They're going to have it and more in the Clemson territory. Down the sideline, and it's Jabir Fry. And Fry goes to the end zone. On 4th and 1, a flag came out after the play at the 1-yard line. But Jabir Fry on 4th and 1, 66 yards off the right side.
Well, what a gutsy call, and we'll take a look at the flag. This might be a celebration early. But Fry is a guy that's at great speed, obviously. Just the sweep play caught Clemson obviously off guard. Clemson was crowding the middle, expecting maybe quarterback sneak or their big back straight ahead. They faked that, and Fry on the kind of a jet sweep scenario, and it's a gutsy call against a fast defense to run to the perimeter.
This is Danny Short, our referee.
After the touchdown, unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, number 5 on Troy. That penalty will be carried over to the kickoff.
Well, Tom, let's take a look at Alex. See how crowded, look how crowded they are here, and they're going to run the sweep. Need one block on the edge. There's the block, and Fry's down the sideline. Remember, Clemson subbed in bigger people thinking, okay, they went to a big package. We got to get bigger people on the field, so not as much speed necessarily on the field in the back end for Clemson, and Fry shows it in the end zone.
66 yards on that run on 4th and 1 after they had tried to draw the Tigers offside. 4th down conversion for Troy and a touchdown. And we'll be back after a word from your local ACC station. ACC Quarterback Challenge presented by Coyote Tractor. New and improved. The ACC's football game lets you practice your passing from the backyard to the beach. Quarterback your favorite team. Download for free today. We are all tied up at 10 after a 66-yard play on 4th and 1 for the Troy Trojans here at Memorial Stadium. Again, the two teams have only met once prior to today. That was 2011. And Troy had a 16-13 lead at the half in that game, although the Tigers did go on to win it 43-19. And Troy has only beaten one ACC opponent in their history, Dave. You have to go back to 1947 when they won at Florida State, 36-6. This kickoff's going out of bounds also. Once again, here's that TD play. 4th and 1, and it's Fry around the edge.
Here's Christian Wilkins. They're going to influence blocking, meaning nobody's going to block him. He's going to step across. He gets influenced into the backfield. They use Christian Wilkins' aggressiveness to a disadvantage for him. He shot into the backfield thinking it was going to be an ISO play straight ahead. They got Fry to the perimeter, never even blocked Wilkins on the play. Outstanding design by Coach Brown's offensive unit. Really good job.
Really an interesting sequence by the coaching staff, Dave. They tried to draw Clemson offside on 4th and 1, called timeout, then went back up, tried it again.
Well, you gotta love that Neil Brown is going to take his shots. Hey, we're in the house of the number 2 team in the country. We're only going to get this opportunity once. Let's go after it.
Watson, Scott got away from a tackler at the 45 and up towards midfield. 17 yards on the catch. Artavis Scott
taking advantage of the soft corner, meaning the corner was backpedaling out. Throw the ball quickly to Scott and let him run after catch. See how the cushion up here. See how far off the corners are. They're going to take advantage of that to the wide side of the field.
Watson's pass complete at the 40. It is Kane. Another first down play for the Tigers.
This classic example of taking what the defense gives you. Soft corner to the wide side of the field. Same play other way. Deion Kane catches this one.
That one chews up 14 yards to the 36 of Troy. And first down.
Look at Troy close up with the corners now. Want to take away that throw.
Watson to the air again. He's going deep to the end zone. It is incomplete. Kane, the intended receiver, in the end zone.
Yeah, and this one's on Deshaun Watson because Deshaun doesn't get the ball out there. Kane's going to run clean. They got the corners up, which put the receivers on safeties. Now Deshaun just has to throw the ball to the back line. He underthrows it. Kane tries to elevate, but a good job by the Troy defender. Was that Witherspoon that elevated, knocked that ball out?
Melvin Tyus was also back there, Dave, number 12. This will be Fuller.
Tyus, the freshman, did a good job of getting back into the play and batting the ball down. But it's the chess game when you start talking, Tom. They took the quick throws to the outside. All of a sudden, Troy comes, responds, corners up as you look at Deshaun's numbers. And then now you're throwing the ball against safeties with your receivers. Just underthrown there.
Scott, the leading receiver, with 4 catches for 47 yards this time. Watson trying to get that first down. Might have come up a yard short as he was diving. Nankande took him down.
Yeah, it's the design run for Deshaun Watson. I think this is something they didn't want to do today. They didn't want Deshaun running the football very much, but Troy's played so well that they're going to have to pull out all the stops.
So now a 4th and 1 situation for the Tigers.
And this is usually Deshaun Watson on the power play in the run game.
Watson makes the cut, trying to battle for that marker.
He didn't get there.
He did not. No gain on the play, and the Trojans hold on 4th and 1. Justin Lucas, number 30 in there. Also number 90, Trevon Sanders.
Troy simply winning up front. Clemson having a tough time blocking Troy, and that's really on Deshaun because they were expecting to go outside. You saw the personal protector for Deshaun Watson was outside, and Deshaun decided to cut it back to the inside, and there were a lot of Trojans waiting on him.
Neil Brown's team is engaged on the road here. They are tied with the number 2 team in the country inside of 6 minutes to go in the second quarter on ACC football presented by Mellow Mushroom. That pass behind the receiver, but a great catch by Douglas on the pass from Silvers.
That really was a good catch. Just to catch the ball in the shotgun and shoot it into the slot area. And what a catch by Douglas on first down. Now, we talked about the key to the game for Troy were first downs. Their defense is playing at a high level. Offense needs to respond for Troy and try to pound out some first downs.
Silvers to Chun. He's got a first down. He's up near the 45-yard line as he barrels his way. Dorian O'Daniel forced him out.
Yeah, and he ultimately makes the tackle. O'Daniel has a chance for the tackle. It's a screen play. 3-count screen to Chun. Now, O'Daniel's there, but look at the stiff arm by Chun to keep him off him. And then he even pounded up the field for a first down.
Ran up to Jadar Johnson as well on that sideline. Some physicality. 14-yard pickup for Chun.
Mentioned he was hurt a year ago in their first game, back off of a knee injury, and well, he's looked good in the first 6 quarters of football.
Only had 7 carries a season ago. This the pass to the boundary, and whistles by the 2 players in the vicinity. Salim, the intended receiver,
wanted to take a shot against bump and run coverage on the outside, but again, pressure changes the thought process, or at least the timing mechanism for Silvers, as Wilkins broke clean. Christian Wilkins, number 42, broke clean and put the pressure on the quarterback.
Wilkins has a sack today. 2nd and 10. Whistle stops play. Penalty marker is out.
False start. 67 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
It's a tough defense to get behind the chains, Tom. Now you're 2nd and 15. They're so fast defensively and athletic up front. If you can stay on schedule, you can find a way to move the chains. But Neil Brown's team now behind the chains, 2nd and 15 here. Now's when you generally see Brent Venables turn that front 4 loose to get after the passer.
Silver's pass is intercepted. Dorian O'Daniel near the 40-yard line.
Boy, again, pressure up front creates the problem. They wanted to shoot the ball into the right flat to the back, but it's Wilkins moving from inside to outside, is in the quarterback space, rushes the decision making, and O'Daniel is camped on the back. See the ball thrown to the back just a little bit wide, and O'Daniel's there to make the play. So 3 interceptions in the first half for the Clemson defense.
Kendall Joseph and Jalen Williams also have interceptions.
Talked about it early, Tom. Roddy went in depth about this defense and what they can do from a pressure standpoint that changes how you play as a quarterback, and they certainly have affected the Troy quarterbacks today. This has been a sputtering offense, and give Troy all the credit. You know, obviously you talk about Deshaun Watson and all the weapons they have, but Troy deserves a lot of the credit of why Clemson's struggling a little bit offensively. More often than not, offensive coordinators on a turnover or a sudden change situation like to take shots down the field. But we have not seen the ball go Mike Williams' way much. I think he has 1 reception on the day. He'll line up at the top of your screen as we get back to action here.
Best starting field position of the game for the Tigers. Adam Choice is in there as the running back. Watson steps up. McLeod down to the 20.
This is an exciting player when he gets in space. Talked about him as a running back in high school. He's right here. He's just going to get out in the flat, and they're going to clear out with their 2 outside receivers. Well, actually, McLeod comes across in motion. I apologize. Gets over that right flat. No one there. And a good read by Watson.
3rd catch by McLeod. That went for 20 yards. Watson to the 5-yard line. It's on target. Mike Williams, 15-yard pickup. 1st and goal for the Tigers.
Just the impromptu play. This is what Deshaun does when things begin to break down. He gets out of the pocket and finds his big-timer Williams on the outside.
His 2nd catch of the game. Officials having a conference down by the pylon, far side of the field.
Right along the sideline was the Williams catch. Is there a discussion maybe that Mike Williams stepped out of bounds prior to catching the ball? Let's take a look here. Really no question about Williams catching the ball inbounds. Did he step out of bounds prior to catching the ball? I think that might be the discussion right here.
Williams had 9 catches to tie a career high in the win against Auburn.
The ruling on the field was that the player went out of bounds and came back in with the person who touched the ball. It is an incomplete pass.
So you got it from Danny Short. And Dave right on top of the play as Williams went out of bounds, first to touch it upon coming inbounds, and the catch is negated.
Well, and I'm not sure I don't know if he was jammed out of bounds at the top. Let's take a look. He's right up here. Let's see, watch as this play develops. And they determined that he put that left foot on the sideline. This just field awareness by Mike Williams stepping out of bounds really was not forced out defensively.
2nd and 10 from the 20. That one deflected by Watson, and now 3rd down for the Tigers. Nkande.
Well, and what Mitch Hyatt has to do, who's the left tackle, he's got to shoot his hands. Whenever Nkande elevates, you teach that offensive lineman to jam those 2 hands into his chest to knock him backwards or pull those hands down. But there's no use of the hands by Hyatt, so Nkande elevates and bats the ball away.
Just 2 of 8 on 3rd down for the Tigers. Over the middle, short of the marker at the 15 is Williams, extended for the catch and 6 yards. But again, it is short of the 1st down by a good 3 or 4 yards.
A good tight coverage again by Roundtree, and it looks like Clemson thinking about, let's go for it here. But they think better of it, and they'll send the field goal unit onto the field. Here comes Bugle onto the field to kick a field goal.
Fans checking out their phones and the action across the country. Right here, it's an exciting one, very close, but a chance right now for the Tigers on a 32-yard field goal attempt by Haugel. Try to give Clemson the lead late in the half. And he's got it. The Tigers have taken the lead. 3-point lead, but the Trojans feeling pretty good and hanging tough with the number 2 team in the nation here in Clemson, South Carolina. ACC football presented by Mellow Mushroom Memorial Stadium. And the home opener for the Clemson Tigers. Bugle with the field goal to give them the 13-10 lead late in the half as we take a look at our Haviland defensive shield. And Brent Venables, the 50-year defensive coordinator for the Tigers, Dave.
Yeah, 4th in the country on 3rd down conversion a year ago. Sacks per game. They get after the passer. Boy, he's really built an outstanding tradition defensively here. Coming over from Oklahoma, arrived on the scene, and they have been very good on defense at Clemson.
Fry and Douglas await the kickoff. This is Fry, 3 yards deep. Staying there. The Ram Power Play is brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. After overcoming a season-ending knee injury and being declared cancer-free just a few months ago, James Conner returning to the field last Saturday with more grit and purpose. Stiff-armed his way to the end zone, 5 yards out of his first touchdown of the season. Conner wouldn't be denied. Neither would the Panthers. Beat Villanova 28-7.
Great to see the Terminator back on the field with all the battles with the knee and the cancer. Great to see him back. 2014 ACC Player of the Year. Back pounding the rock. The Terminator. Touchdown rushing and receiving a week ago.
The Ram Power Play brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, and Ram.
The ball on the ground there momentarily. Thomas Chung get it straight ahead. He's able to scramble back on top. Sorry, Anderson hits it straight ahead. Big fullback.
They got 4 yards on that play. 2:25 and counting in the second period. Caleb Barker has come into the game at quarterback. We've seen all 3 quarterbacks for the Trojans in the first half. Silvers, Smith, and now Barker. Barker wants to run. Met head on at the 30-yard line. Kendall Joseph after a 2-yard pickup. Timeout by the Tigers. Let's go back to our Charlotte studio. See what's coming up at halftime. Katie?
Lots coming up at halftime. Tom, we are going to be talking about this game, our Mellow Mushroom Game of the Week, because I didn't think we'd be right here right now. Stan, you challenged Clemson. Have they cleaned it up?
They absolutely have not. I mean, you're talking about the 2 games combined. They're scoring, what, 32 points in 6 quarters as opposed to 38 points per game last year. They are not making a championship statement.
That's the offense. What about the D?
Defense has played well, creating 3 turnovers. 1 problem on short yards, 4th and 1, giving up the long touchdown run. Clemson defense has helped them in this game so far.
We're going to talk about the in-state rivalries coming up at halftime. Keep it here. Tom, Dave.
Katie, thank you. And this is a Clemson team that's really going to have to spend some time on the board at halftime. I think they're going to need to get back to the run game. The running game has not been a factor for them offensively. They're going to need to get back to doing that kind of stuff. There's 26 yards on the ground in the first half for a Clemson team that ran it big time a year ago.
This is 3rd and 5. Troy's just 1 of 6 in the first half in this third down situation. Silver is hit as he released the football, sails high at the 45.
Well, if you don't get the ball out on time, you're going to get hit by this Clemson defense. This time Dexter Lawrence, the freshman, number 90, going to pepper the quarterback again. You hold on to it very long against this crew, you're going to get hit.
Dexter Lawrence, 6'5" and 340 pounds, out of Wake Forest, North Carolina, making that hit. Ryan Kay will punt for Troy. Ray McLeod waiting at his 29, and now he creeps up to the 30. McLeod fields it. 40. Room for McLeod. Down the center of the field and into the end zone. The shoe came off, but McLeod and the ball ended up in the end zone.
Well, there's playmakers all over the field for Clemson, and they were looking for someone to do something. And Ray McLeod, a former running back in high school, Sickles High School, Tampa, Florida, you see his ability, the open field when he gets one in his hands, and really took a little bit of a gamble on the little hop that jumped into his hands, and he put it in the end zone.
75 yards on the return from McLeod.
Well, look at McLeod. Just the great speed is what sticks out to you. He steps in the end zone. Now they're going to take a look now. McLeod let the ball go right at the goal line. And they're going to take a look. Did he cross the goal line before the ball came out? I'm not sure why guys are doing this. We've seen this a number of times. Carry the football to the back line with it. Going to be hard to tell from there. Here's the look they're going to take a look at. Does he still have it in his hands as he crosses the goal line? Boy, that is really close. I would say no. He doesn't have the ball in his hands as he goes over crosses the end line, but I'm not sure that's definitive enough. It's a little bit of an angle.
You need indisputable video evidence.
Boy, I just don't know why guys don't carry the ball into the end zone. Carry it all the way through the back of the end zone.
The call on the field was touchdown. It is under review. If it stands, it's the first punt return for a TD since 2014 for the Tigers and Adam Humphries.
Let's take a look at the results on the ball. If we can see this ball on the ground, laying on the ground. Now there's the Troy right here. Seeing the Troy guy pick up the Troy coverage man picks up the football. So he actually ends up with the ball in his possession at the 1 foot line. But again, that angles it a little bit. That shot we give you is at a little bit of an angle. Is it definitive enough for them to be able to determine Ray McLeod let the ball go prior to crossing the goal line?
Jack Kramer is a replay official. And there's folks in Greensboro as well taking a look at this play in the command center in Greensboro, employed by the ACC this year, where other officials are also monitoring play in the ACC, including our game here at Memorial Stadium. Dave, it should be a non-issue, though.
Well, yeah, this happens all over the country at the college level. It happens a lot at the NFL level. I'm not sure what the flip is at the goal line, whether there's something going on there that everybody thinks it's cool or what. I don't know what it is. It's cool to have the ball in your hands when you cross the goal line is what's cool. And it's not definitive, but I think the ball's out prior to crossing the goal line.
Again, the call on the field is touchdown. as McLeod took it in from 75 yards out of the punt return, but it is under review.
When you make a great play, Ray McLeod just made a tremendous play. First, the scoop down here on like a second bounce to catch it, and then the great speed, just finish it the right way and get across the goal line. I'm sure that's what is in Dabo Sweeney's mind. He said there were a number of plays made by his team a week ago that had his head scratch his head. Wayne Gallman runs out of bounds with the clock running. Boulware has the penalty against the quarterback to hit out of bounds, an extended drive for Auburn. And here Ray McLeod, even though he's a young player, he's a sophomore, he's played a lot here at Clemson. It's in his first rodeo. Take care of the football as you cross.
Dave, you're right. In that Auburn game, the Auburn Tigers had a couple of cracks at the end zone at the end of the game because of some of those plays made by the Tigers late in that one. Although Coach Sweeney told us any victory on the road in the SEC, especially at Auburn, he'll take that in a second. In fact, it was the first win at Auburn since 1950 for this Clemson program.
Talk about how hard it is. If it's taking this long to determine that you can't flip it over. Now, if that's what's going on conversation-wise. Now, they may be trying to determine, okay, what's the rule? The ball's definitely out. What are we to do now? Because Troy recovered the ball at the 1 foot line. We saw that on our tape. That may be what they're trying to decide here as opposed to still looking at the play.
Just to be clear, we did have officials on the field signal touchdown. That is the call on the field, and now it is under review. And again, you need indisputable video evidence. And Dave, we're four minutes in now.
Taking too long. We can't take this long to figure this out. I like the fact that we've added in some help. You talked about the command center to try to get the play correct. But this is taking way too long. You can't do this. I know we're early in the season when it comes to this type of operation, but this cannot be the norm.
If it stands, it's a 75-yard punt return by Ray McLeod. It would be the first punt return TD for the Tigers since 2014.
The only reason that the discussion would take this long would be, the only reason that this would be taking this long is that there is going to be a change on the play.
Danny Short has the headset on in communication with our replay official, Jack Kramer, and also the command center in Greensboro, North Carolina, ACC headquarters. They're also monitoring the situation here in Clemson, South Carolina. A lot of discussion. Now we're at least 5 minutes in to this process. And I can guarantee you this, Dave Archer, from this point on, Clemson ball carriers will take that ball to the back line of the end zone and hand it to the official from this point.
I would think this would be an example for everyone in the country that has a chance to carry the football into the end zone. Take it to the back line and set it down.
Especially, you don't want to let the Troy Trojans hang around. They have proven to be a tough opponent so far on this Saturday. Here we go.
After review, it was determined that the player fumbled the ball prior to reaching the goal line. The defense recovered the ball in the end zone. The ruling is touchback, first down Troy.
Incredible. The call has been reversed.
Yeah, that would be the only reason why that would take that long. They were trying to get a definitive rule. Does Troy have the ball at the 1 foot line? And you see Troy's reaction to the sideline and to the play, the heads up play to recover the ball. And now Troy gets it on a touchback. Boy, just a huge mistake by Ray McLeod. Unforced error there.
Teammates, though, on the sideline going right over to him for support. But again, releasing that football before crossing the plane, and it would have been a 75-yard return on the punt for Ray McLeod. Take the points off the board. Give Troy the football. 13-10 Clemson. Douglas up to the 28-yard line, 8 yards on the play. DeAndre Douglas, a popular receiver in the first half for Troy.
This is just that jet sweep type play. It's a completion because the ball's shoved forward by the quarterback. Essentially just a short little toss forward. And they've had some success with the play.
4 catches for Douglas for 47 yards in the first half.
I would think Troy would, they're still going to try to move the chains, but they're going to be careful with the ball. Turn the ball over 3 times here in the first half. Going to be careful with the football deep in their own end.
3 interceptions for that Tiger defense. Silvers. First down and more up to the 38.
Now I would think you would step on the accelerator a little bit more. Out near your 40-yard line now, you're in a green light situation. You've done a good job of moving the chains the first time. Now caution now is plays out, and you go full go.
11 yards on the catch by Salim. Silvers over the middle. He's got a man wide open into Clemson territory and down close to the 32-yard line. Andre Flakes on the catch for Troy at 28 yards.
And Flakes had the block on the quick throw on the last play. This time in the slot, just runs the little post route. Excellent throw by Silvers.
Trojans moving that football down the field, and Silvers again. This one is incomplete. Marcus Edmond was on coverage of Ishmael Salim.
Good coverage there. They tried to run a little switch play out there.
2011 is the only other meeting between the teams. A 3-point lead at halftime for Troy. The Tigers would dominate the second half ultimately.
I talked to Neil Brown. Roddy and I talked to Neil Brown just before the kickoff, and he said, well, we'll try to give you a show. We're going to try to hang in there. I'd say his team's done that.
More than hanging in there with 29 seconds to go. 2nd and 10. That's Chun grinding to the 32. Keep an eye on that clock. 1 timeout remaining for Troy.
Wow, having a tough time misplacing the ball. Silvers anxious to get the ball in his hands. They're trying to set up a field goal here. Wow, that didn't work out the way Coach Brown wanted it to. I think they would have liked to have gotten about another 7 or 8 yards. So now, a long field goal here.
So Troy has taken its last timeout with 8 seconds to go in the half, and a chance for Ryan Kay to tie this one up.
Remember, Ryan Kay was not their kicker a year ago, just 1 for 2 a year ago. 1 for 1 a week ago. His long is 43 yards. This is going to be beyond that.
His first field goal today in the first quarter was from 39 yards away.
He had 2 attempts a year ago, 32 the long. He had 1 last week against Austin Peay, which was his career long, 43 yards. So this will be a potential career long for him.
This could be from 48 yards away, Dave, and in fact, if he does make it, it will be a career long. 47 is the longest that Kay has hit from. So what a turn of events. Clemson thought it had a punt return touchdown. Instead, Troy gets the ball, moves it down the field quickly, and now a chance for a 48-yard field goal to tie this game. 8 seconds to go in the half. Here's Ryan Kay. It is no good for Kay.
A bad snap on it was into the knee of the holder, and just tough to handle and get down cleanly for Kay, and subsequently the kick sailed wide right.
Coach Brown, upper left, body English, not quite enough.
Yeah, I think the snap being low and not placed cleanly affected Kay on the kick.
So just 2 seconds to go in the half. Tigers are just going to snap it once, run out those 2 seconds, and go to the locker room. Who expected this, Dave Archer? 13-10 as the teams go to the locker room.
Outstanding play by Troy. They've overcome 3 turnovers and stay in this game against a Clemson team that's trying to find themselves offensively.
Troy had a chance to tie it there on that 48-yard field goal attempt wide right as we go down to the field, and Ronnie Jones.
Coach, obviously that play at the end of the half with Ray, a little bit of confusion, a long time review. What was the explanation the officials gave you?
Well, I think they were just trying to decide if the whistle had blown it dead, but it doesn't excuse that. I mean, it's just, we got a couple of young guys that's got to grow up. You know, it's touchdown off the board right there. We drop a touchdown. 2 young, great, talented players that, you know, we just got to make those plays.
What do you have to do to get something going offensively in the second half?
Well, we got to finish those type of plays, first of all. And then, you know, really disappointed with our start. Hey, it's a 4-quarter game, thank goodness. But really disappointed in how we played. You know, not ready to play this first half.
Thanks, Coach. Well, it may not feel like it, but Clemson is leading in this ball game. Coach Winnie looking for his guys to make more plays in the second half, Katie.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what these guys in here have been talking about. This isn't the game that I thought we were going to see. Stan, overall thoughts?
I'm disappointed in the Clemson Tigers. I warned them in the pregame, watch out. Troy has held Clemson to 26 yards rushing for the game. This is a team in the Clemson Tigers that returned everybody that rushing last season 223 yards per game. Disappointing effort by the Tigers.
Coach, what did you think?
Very sloppy game by both teams. 5 whole turnovers in the game, 3 interceptions by Troy, and the 2 interception and the fumble by Clemson. But Dabo hit the nail on the head. They were not prepared to play. If Troy weren't playing so poorly, they could be ahead by 10 points.
Well, I think he's going to get them prepared in the locker room with that halftime speech. We are going to revisit this game, take a look all around the ACC with lots of highlights. Keep it right here. We'll be back on the ACC Network's Halftime Report.
Gary, I am proud of you, my man. Making simple, smart cashback choices. With Quicksilver from Capital One, you're earning unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere. Like on that new laptop. Quicksilver keeps things simple, Gary. And smart, like you. And I like that.
I guess I am pretty smart.
Don't let that go to your head, Gary. What's in your wallet?
Welcome into the ESPN3 Halftime Report presented by Capital One. I'm Trevor Scales. We'll get you out to the second half in just a bit, but first, let's take a look at the Capital One Cup Impact Performance of the week. Louisville quarterback Lamar Jackson is our winner. Lamar took it to Charlotte in the opening weekend for the Louisville Cardinals, racking up a school record 8 touchdowns, 6 passing, 2 on the ground, and 405 yards of offense in the first half. The Louisville quarterback got everyone some touches, hitting 6 different receivers for touchdowns, and was part of a rushing attack that totaled 272 yards on the way to a 70-14 rout of the Charlotte 49ers. With that type of performance, Lamar Jackson certainly got himself in the early talks surrounding Heisman Trophy candidates. Now let's get a preview of today's game. For that, we'll join the college football crew for more.
College football Saturday, you gotta love it. Alongside Joey Galloway, Danny Canal, Adnan Burke, it is great to have you with us. One of the beauties of having football back is focusing on all those great quarterbacks, and week 1 did not disappoint in that department, including Tulsa taking on J.T. Barrett and Ohio State last week. Barrett responsible for a school record 7 touchdowns, Joey.
A lot of man-to-man coverage against the young wide receivers from Ohio State. They beat the coverage, and J.T. Barrett delivered the ball downfield for a lot of big plays.
We didn't know Alabama's quarterback, Danny, last week entering week 1. Still not set in stone, but freshman Jalen Hurts made a good case.
I think a lot of people are expecting a game manager type, but man, this young man is athletic, he's electric, and he's got a cannon for an arm. Lane Kiffin is going to have a field day working with a quarterback like him.
Deshaun Kaiser finally named the starter for Notre Dame after matching a career high with 6 touchdowns in last week's loss to Texas.
A lot of talk coming to the season. Both quarterbacks playing, Kaiser and Zaire. Kaiser played well last week. It's his show now moving forward. We'll see how far he goes with the Notre Dame offense.
And if Texas's Shane Bichelle starts against UTEP, he'd become the first true freshman quarterback to start the first 2 games of the season in school history.
He had an impressive spring game, but you didn't know how he was going to do on the big stage. Boy, did he ever step up to the big plate, big time. 16-26, 280 yards, but more impressive was his poise.
And to cap off Saturday night, UVA taking on Dakota Prukop in Oregon on ESPN.
This Oregon offense put up 53 points last week, still has the ability to the big play offense. They're going to need it. They give up a lot of points on defense.
Prukop, 271 yards, 3 touchdowns. Oregon debut last week against UC Davis. So lots of quarterbacks out there. Danny, who's the one you're most focused on?
The guy we talked about earlier, you talked about the 7-touchdown school record for Ohio State. J.T. Barrett, I want to see him take the helm again against Tulsa. Another opportunity to put up some big numbers. I think he's going to be a Heisman finalist if he continues on this pace. And you know, playing an Urban Meyer system, he's going to have a statistical year that's going to be eye-popping.
Barrett certainly was impressive against Bowling Green with those 6 touchdowns. Just that 1 interception after that, he was spectacular. We showed you some of those quarterbacks, but Joey going off the board here. Tennessee beat Appalachian State, but why are you focused on Joshua Dobbs?
I want to see Josh Dobbs play better. As a team, Tennessee didn't play up to their potential. They're a talented team, a lot of returning starters. They struggled up front. Offensive line had their struggles, but they've been that way at the offensive line for the past couple years. What I need to see of this offense make better decisions at the quarterback position. 16 of 29 for 192 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. There could have been more. Made a lot of bad decisions, throwing the ball up. A lot of times it was dropped by the defense. He has to make better decisions if this Tennessee team is going to be a team that competes in the East, which we all think they should.
Especially in the red zone. There was a red zone interception that was horrendous if you watch Dobbs closely. And you have such a good team around you. You've got Jalen Hurd in the backfield, who's an exceptional running back. You've got quality players on the defensive side of the ball. You don't have to win the game by yourself. A lot of quarterbacks make that mistake. So relax. Let the game come to you. If he's patient, he'll be able to succeed.
Certainly going to be a great setting for that game. More on Virginia Tech and Tennessee as Reese Davis and Kirk Herbstreit will weigh in with their thoughts on this game taking place at the Pilot Flying J Battle at Bristol. Keep it locked right here.
Arkansas, TCU, tonight at 7 on ESPN and streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
Fantasy football ends here, but it started on the ESPN Fantasy app. It ends with this look on Tad's face, but it started on this app. It ends with the circle beard of shame, but it started on this app. And every once in a while it ends like this, but even then it started on this app. The new ESPN Fantasy app makes it easy to create, manage, and win your league. Download the ESPN Fantasy app and start your league today.
Monday Night Football, Steelers, Redskins at 6:55 and Rams, 49ers at 10:15. Monday night on ESPN.
Here we go. It's a new season.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
Moss. We all the way up. Hasselback.
Let's go. Let's go.
Woodson. Let's get it started. Dilfer. It's time.
And me.
The new
Sunday
NFL Countdown.
Sundays at 11 on ESPN.
Arkansas, TCU, tonight at 7 on ESPN and streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
Here we go. It's a new season.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
Moss. We all the way up. Hasselback.
Let's go. Let's go.
Woodson. Let's get it started. Dilfer. It's time.
And me.
The new
Sunday
NFL Countdown.
Sundays at 11 on ESPN.
Monday Night Football, Steelers, Redskins at 6:55 and Rams, 49ers at 10:15. Monday night on ESPN.
The opportunity to make football history and playing in the biggest venue ever.
Touchdown, Hokies!
The expectations at Tennessee are really high right now.
Live from Bristol Motor Speedway, Virginia Tech, Tennessee, tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, and streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
Bristol Motor Speedway. First time a college football game has been played there. Take a picture of this. Give me a hand to it. College Game Day live from Bristol Motor Speedway, Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Watch it on ESPN or streaming live on the Watch ESPN app.
Looking forward to College Game Day. What a cool setting this is going to be. The Pilot Flying J Battle at Bristol. You can fit the big house in this place. Also, if you're a baseball fan, two venerable institutions would also be sized up here. Not only Fenway Park, but also Wrigley Field, with more on what to expect. Reese Davis and Kirk Herbstreit. Gentlemen.
An often sleepy town nestled in the southern Appalachian foothills is alive. Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee. Battle at Bristol, an event that has been 20 years in the making. Virginia Tech and Tennessee will play football inside this speedway that they call the last great Coliseum. Workers have been at it since about the third week in August to make this transformation from racetrack into football stadium for this event. We're expecting the largest crowd ever to see a football game of any kind. Officials from the Guinness Book of World Records will be on hand to verify that. But there's another level at stake for both Tennessee and Virginia Tech. For Virginia Tech, the Hokies have a new coach, Justin Fuente, and this big stage provides an opportunity to jumpstart the regime. For Tennessee, if I might borrow from the vernacular common here in Bristol, the Volunteers barely avoided a major racing deal that would have totaled their season against Appalachian State, and now they have to prove they can handle a spotlight like they'll see inside Bristol.
Games like this are the reason why you come to Tennessee, to make history and prove why we have, the best team in the nation.
It's a big stage, a lot of people to see you play and display your talents.
I'm not sure anybody really knows what it's actually going to look like with that many people.
There'll be fans all the way around us. They might be kind of far, but it's been more than we've ever seen before.
This rivalry can get revived in a place that's really neutral to both teams.
You may not understand the magnitude of this game until maybe you're 25, 30, 35 years old, and you have children of your own, and you can tell them that you played in the biggest game ever.
More than 150,000 expected inside here. But you know what I like about my man Kirk Herbstreit? Not worried about 150,000. Worried about the 22. The all 22 that'll be on the field. What's the key matchup?
Well, I think after what we saw from Tennessee in their first game against Appalachian State, I think anybody would say, how is Tennessee's offensive line and the offensive continuity going to perform against Virginia Tech? If you looked at the way they played, they looked like they just weren't interested up front. They got beat up the line of scrimmage. This is a team that returned 4 offensive linemen with a great deal of experience in SEC play. I personally am going to put this off to just them showing up, not respecting a very good opponent that just didn't sound good. And I think that had a lot to do with how sloppy they were on offense. It also impacted their quarterback, Josh Dobbs, who made uncharacteristically some poor decisions. I personally think they played a very different level in the trenches, and they better, because here comes Bud Foster, coming off a terrible year last year, determined to play better defensively this year, too.
Yeah, Tennessee only averaged about 3 yards a carry against Appalachian State. These two teams in their opener combined didn't lose all of them, but put the ball on the ground 9 times.
All right, Reese, Herbie, look forward to it. We'll see you guys then. The largest single game attendance in FBS history. This goes back to 1948. Over 115,000 saw Notre Dame and Michigan. Expected attendance at the Bristol Motor Speedway, over 150,000. Going to be an awesome venue for some college football between Virginia Tech and Tennessee. Lots more college football on the way.
That's going to do it for the Capital One Halftime Report. I'm Trevor Scales. Let's get you back out to that second half.
Arkansas, TCU, tonight at 7 on ESPN and streaming live on the ESPN app and Watch ESPN.
Fantasy football ends here, but it started on the ESPN Fantasy app. It ends with this look on Tad's face, but it started on this app. It ends with the circle beard of shame, but it started on this app. And every once in a while it ends like this. But even then, it started on this app. The new ESPN Fantasy app makes it easy to create, manage, and win your league. Download the ESPN Fantasy app and start your league today.
Monday Night Football, Steelers, Redskins at 6:55 and Rams, 49ers at 10:15. Monday night on ESPN.
Here we go. It's a new season.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
Moss. We all the way up. Hasselback.
Let's go, let's go.
Woodson. Let's get it started. Dilfer. It's time.
And me.
The new
Sunday
NFL Countdown.
Sundays at 11 on ESPN.
Arkansas, TCU, tonight at 7 on ESPN and streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
Here we go. It's a new season.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
Moss. We all the way up. Hasselback.
Let's go, let's go.
Woodson. Let's get it started. Dilfer. It's time.
And me.
The new
Sunday
NFL Countdown.
Sundays at 11 on ESPN.
Monday Night Football, Steelers, Redskins at 6:55 and Rams, 49ers at 10:15. Monday night on ESPN.
The opportunity to make football history and playing in the biggest venue ever.
Touchdown, Hokies!
The expectations at Tennessee are really high right now.
Live from Bristol Motor Speedway, Virginia Tech, Tennessee, tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, and streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
Was the focal point of their defense, and they did not make it easy on Deshaun Watson. He was throwing the football away. He was harassed in the passing game, and when he did get a chance to throw it, one of his own guys got in the way. But Troy found a way to make some plays defensively to really keep them off balance, but they did get the Hunter Renfrow unbelievable catch in the end zone, the one shining moment really offensively for Clemson.
All right, Dave, let's send it down to the sidelines and Roddy Jones.
Coach, you're going toe-to-toe with the number 2 team in the country. What was your message to the team at halftime?
Well, we didn't take advantage of some opportunities, and it's just, hey, let's go out and compete. We got to play hard. We got to do a better job with our pad level in the second half. We didn't take advantage of those opportunities. We had 3 turnovers, 2 botched field goals. So I think our defense is playing really well. Offensively, we're controlling the clock, which is what we need to do. We just got to make a few more plays.
Coach, it seems like you guys have controlled the line of scrimmage, particularly in the interior on the defensive line. What's been the secret to that?
I don't know if we've controlled it. We've done a pretty good job moving and slanting on the defensive front. Coach Vic Koenig, who was the defense coordinator here for a long time, is doing a really good job with mixing up our blitzes and our stunts.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, 26 pass attempts in the first half for Deshaun Watson, 11 rushes. That is not really the recipe that Tony Tony and Jeff want to call the games here for Clemson. They would like to get back to the run game. I think they will get back to the run game in the second half.
All right, Dave, here's a look at our Toyota game summaries. Silvers and Watson side by side at the quarterback position for the most part for Troy in the first half.
Well, look at the third down conversions. 3 for 16. Just not very good. And both teams have turned the football over. Clemson's points have come off of those turnovers. So neither offense has played very cleanly.
Hunter Renfrow with the TD grab for Clemson. For summaries of other ACC games, go to the Toyota Game Center on the ACC.com.
Well, Deshaun Watson, much is expected, and obviously he is the all-everything quarterback in the country, but he has to have some help, and they've got to find a way to get people blocked up front. You look at their first half possessions, not really anything there to hang your hat on. Got the one interception that turned into a touchdown throw to Hunter Renfrow, but other than that, not much going for Watson in the offense.
ACC football is brought to you in HD by your local Tire Pros dealer. Win a VIP trip for 2 to the ACC championship game and Continental Tires at the Tire Pros Sweepstakes.com. That ACC championship game December 3rd in Charlotte, North Carolina for the 7th straight year. These Tigers are the defending champs. In that game, they beat North Carolina. In that ACC championship, they will get the ball to start the second half. Feaster and Fuller, the return men. Underwood puts it in play for the second half. Feaster to the 20, falls forward out to the 22 or 3, and that return from Feaster for 22 yards.
Well, Tom, here's the play that really shook everybody up here at Memorial Stadium. Ray McLeod goes 75 yards, what looked like a touchdown on a punt return, but he let the ball go before crossing the line. Troy comes back, recovers the kick, ultimately decided after a lot of consternation that he did in fact not carry it across the goal line. It was a touchback. Troy got the football, no touchdown return for Clemson.
Would have been a 75-yard return. This is Gallman in the flat. Stumbles down at the 28. Jalen Harris, the tackle, 7 yards on the play for the Tigers.
Wayne Gallman only touched the ball 5 times, as we see a Troy player is banged up and still down on the field. Only touched the ball 5 times in the first half.
It's Jalen Harris for the Trojans, who is down and being attended to.
Junior from Dothan, Alabama, has had a good first half. Moved from wide receiver to defensive back in the spring of 2015 and has played some solid corner today for the Troy Trojans. 12th career start today for Troy.
He'll go to the sideline for further evaluation. 2nd and 3. Jalen Roundtree has come in that secondary for Troy. He's number 22. Watson to throw. Deep pass. Too far for his intended receiver. And that's Mike Williams. And Watson took a shot and a flag is out right near the contact.
Foul. Roughing the passer. Number 7 defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Rashad Dillard's going to come off the edge, number 7. And he's going to hit Watson right in the back, and that's a clean call. Dillard was their sacker a year ago, 7 sacks a year ago, so he's a guy that's used to being around the quarterback, just got there a little bit too late. Clemson doesn't need any help if you're Troy, and that's certainly not what Coach Brown wants, is helping Clemson get moving offensively.
Watson was 14 of 26 with an interception, 175 yards and a TD pass to Renfrow. Scott ganged up on at the 45-yard line, just one.
Really impressed with the way Troy has played at the line of scrimmage, and I think that Clemson needs to get back to the running game, and another Troy defender has stayed on the ground. It is a hot day. You wonder if, although they did just come out from halftime, you wonder if maybe some of the cramping issues might start popping up for some of these players, and that certainly looks like what it is for Levy. Levy's the guy that actually made the initial penetration that forced Gallman wide on that running play, which allowed Troy to get there and hold it to a 1-yard gain. But Roddy, it's really hot down the field. You and I had a chance to walk around on the field. You got to figure that some of these guys are going to start feeling the effects.
Arch, you're exactly right. It's about 94 degrees down here on the field with about 70% humidity, which makes it feel like it's over 100. So we are going to see some of these guys cramping as we get further and further into the second half.
2nd and 9 for Watson and the Tigers. Feels some pressure. Gets away. Midfield. Takes a stutter step right at the 40, maybe out of bounds at the 41 as Statham forced him out, but 14 yards on the scramble and run. Watson.
Well, if you're designing a defense, you want coverage in the back end and you want your pressure to get to the quarterback. Everything Vic Koenig designed right there worked out, except you got to tackle the quarterback. They didn't get him on the ground.
On 1st down, that pass incomplete to Renfro. It appeared to be a very catchable ball, although unable to put the clamps on it for Renfro.
The safety closing. Renfro got his eyes off the ball, took for granted that he was going to squeeze that one, wanted to try to find the safety before he looked the ball in.
Renfro had 1 catch in the first half. That was the 35-yard TD right at the front area of the end zone as he kept the foot in bounds. And the pass from Watson, and this one is incomplete. Appeared to be a little bit behind Deion Kane.
Well, in Watson, you see Watson rolling his hands there as he's looking out there. You got to speed up your process a little bit. He catches and throws. He felt like the sense of urgency to come out of the break by Kane wasn't there. You get to the top of the stem at the top of the route, you got to come out of the route quickly, expecting the ball on you. And he didn't feel like Kane responded the way he wanted him to.
2 for 9 on 3rd down for the Tigers, trying to convert. Watson uncorks. Right near the 25-yard line, it is incomplete.
Yeah, a little bit underthrown. This is what they call a sail route. You got a guy clearing, and then you've got, so you get just a bend to the outside. I'm sorry, it's just a corner route to the outside. He flattened the route off because the corner was outside technique there. He couldn't go to the deep angle, expecting the ball back to the sideline. The ball a little bit short in Watson's standards. Certainly a catch Artavis Scott has made many times in his career.
Back deep for Troy. Darius Rucker.
Teasdale has to punt.
A sense of frustration level rising in the orange jersey that things aren't easier for him today.
This is Ruckert, wants a fair catch. Makes it successfully around the 9-yard line after the 32-yard punt. Let's take a look at what you, the fans, are saying on the Mellow Mushroom Tweets-a. Most interesting game on right now, Dave. Troy, Clemson.
How could it not be? Troy challenging the number 2 team in the country. I think dead on there.
All right, not superstitious. Going to change my T-shirt, walk around the perimeter of the house 3 times.
Evidently, that I love it.
That's our Mellow Mushroom Tweets. By the way, Mellow Mushroom wants to give each of these fans $100 in pizza. Congrats, and look out for a Twitter message to claim your pizza.
Now, would you think that was a Troy fan or was that a Clemson fan that he tweeted that in?
I think either way, they're looking for a little bit of a change one way or the other. Well, that's a big run by Chun as he busts out of there. 1st down yardage and much more.
Well, Chun going to come right at you in your living room here. Gets a good block up front, runs through and past Ben Boulware. And the big fella at 230 pounds trying to punish secondary defenders as they come up to make the tackle. And that's what begins to happen if you get a big back like this guy rolling 230. Secondary guys aren't really interested in coming up and hitting that guy.
18 yards for Chun. Chun again, just 1 this time. As a freshman, Chun had 14 TD runs, so effective and back in the lineup, and the possessions for Troy in the first half.
Well, you heard Roddy talking to Coach Brown. He was disappointed. They had some opportunities. See the 3 turnovers. They had the on the downs scenario there. Missed the field goal. Bad snap on a field goal. So opportunities galore for this Trojan offense.
10 points off of those turnovers by the Tigers. 3 interceptions. O'Daniel, Williams, and Joseph on the Clemson defense. 2nd and long. Sack. Carlos Watkins blows up the pocket and takes down Silvers.
One of the more active one technique or nose tackles you'll ever see. He's 305, 310 pounds, and he just muscles from the center all the way back into the quarterback. Done a nice job up front. He's played a high level. Remember, he's the one guy up there that's a senior. Everybody else, sophomores, freshmen. Pagano is a junior. He plays sparingly, or plays some, rotates in. Watkins is the senior member up there.
1 of 8 on third down for Troy. They lost 8 on that previous play. The sack by Watkins as Chun goes beyond the 25, but well short.
Safety first that time by Coach Edenfield, the offensive coordinator. Coach Edenfield, the offensive coordinator for Troy. They're safe and sorry. It would draw play on 3rd and long. The defense playing at a high level. Why not?
Okay, to punt, it is Ray McLeod back out of the field. And standing at his own 34-yard line. Last time he fielded a punt, he took it to the goal line, but not in. Dropped the ball right before going to the goal line on purpose, and it was overturned. McLeod, 34. McLeod to the 50. Hit from behind, but into Troy territory on the return by Ray McLeod of 39 yards.
Clemson scored just one time. It was Hunter Renfro, an outstanding catch on the sideline. They've got great field position. It's the Tigers when we come back.
ACC football is being brought to you by Food Lion, raising standards without raising prices. How refreshing. By your Carolina Ford dealers. By Geico, saving people money for over 75 years. By Mattress Firm. And by Bojangles. It's bow time.
Multi-million-dollar renovations to Little John Coliseum, home of the basketball programs for the Clemson Tigers. We had a chance to go over and see the construction and the completion. They've put some new paint on there, some new seats. Rob Reichley, our executive producer, with us. Roddy and Dave were with us, and we watched the men's basketball team practice.
A lot of fun. They had a nice little run there in January, knocking off some ranked teams here in basketball.
Watson on the throw, and that is incomplete at the 45. Scott was the intended receiver. Dave, you're right. Brad Brownell's team. They defeated Louisville, Duke, and Miami in succession, all ranked teams, but those games were played at Bon Secours Wellness Arena in Greenville, which is where they played last year while the renovations were going on, and they're ready to go for this coming season.
Well, a lot of stirring here at Memorial Stadium among the fans and the inability to execute some of the simple stuff here with this Clemson offense.
Watson had missed on his last 5 pass attempts, so he gives this one to Gallman. It's 2 yards for Gallman.
We talk about the keys for the game for Clemson. We talked about just clean up the game from a week ago, and that has not happened. 2 for 10 on third down, the 2 turnovers, and we've seen repeated mistakes. McLeod drops the football on a punt return. We've seen some passes drop that Watson's thrown. Watson's been a little bit off on a couple throws.
Watson was getting pressured, and this one is picked off. It is Rookard stepping in front of the receiver, and he's up the near sideline. So Darius Rookard has the interception for the Troy Trojans.
Well, Deshaun's trying to push this ball up the field to the sideline, and again, heat on the quarterback. Edge pressure coming around the end. Dillard's going to hit the quarterback at the back end. It's a well-thrown ball in the area, but just a good job of breaking on the ball by Rookard. He's got great speed. We talked about his punt return abilities. He's in that secondary, one of those starters back there, and just closed on the ball. They are playing with a ton of confidence now, wearing with that Troy helmet on. They're really playing at a high level.
Turnovers are even now, and a couple of interceptions thrown by Deshaun Watson. Silvers is in there at quarterback for Troy. This is Chun with a couple of yards as we go to our studios in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Party's update takes us out to East Carolina, and Ryan Finley getting the job done.
I'm all over the Wolfpack today, but Ryan Finley, the transfer from Boise State, running that option like they did follow Eli Drinkwitz, the offense coordinator. Same result that was in Boise. Touchdown.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Stan breaking it down. Yeah, knows Boise football. You got to love the versatility of Stan in the studio.
Scotty Montgomery, the Duke offensive coordinator from last year, is the head coach at East Carolina. That's Fry on the run.
Now, we talked about the battle in the trenches that is every weekend, but whenever you play Clemson, it's an all-day affair, and they've just got so many athletes. They rotate as many as 9 players up front, and all of them are big-time players and can run. So a great opportunity here for Troy. Short field opportunity. Brent Venables' team in a sudden change situation. Who responds?
3rd and 10 for Troy. From the Tiger 38. Silvers. Incomplete. Pass was low. Salim was the receiver he was looking for. Tankersley on the coverage.
Boy, a really good late check. They've got a change from the line of from the sideline for Troy, and then Brent Venables changed his defense. They looked like they were going to play zone, immediately jumped into a pressure off the left side, went bump and run man coverage on the outside. That's really hard to do, especially with a young defense, to make a change on the fly in the 11th hour, so to speak, or the final second of the clock, to get your guys to change and not make a mistake.
Brent Venables animated on that sideline as the 5th-year defensive coordinator for the Tigers, forcing a punt by Kay. Ray McLeod again comes out. He's standing at his 10, but now a flag has been thrown. Looks like the play clock.
Delay of game on the offense. 5 yards, 4th down.
Whenever you're pushed into a sudden change situation, which Clemson was, their defense backed up inside their own 40 after a turnover. How do you respond? And Coach Brown's team there, Troy's head football coach Neil Brown, got to be disappointed. Had a great opportunity, but for Clemson, that's a big-time win defensively.
McLeod, the deep man, just beyond his own 10-yard line to receive this punt. The low snap, and Kay able to send it on its way. And into the end zone. 43 yards on the punt.
Well, when you're pushed into a situation, your back's against the wall, how do you respond? Brent Venables' team responded the way expected. They shut down Troy.
Double meet and click away.
Breaking tackles, there he goes. Beautiful throw, touchdown Clemson.
The ACC mobile app.
What a header.
Presented by Outback.
13-10, the ACC football presented by Mellow Mushroom, the #2 team in the country. In a fight here at Memorial Stadium, the home opener with the Troy Trojans. Just the 2nd all-time meeting between the teams. Clemson beat them back in 2011 here at Memorial Stadium. Choice on the run as we go down to Rod.
Tom, when we met with head coach Dabo Swinney yesterday, he talked about his message to the team is don't lose to Clemson. You have to be fanatical about the fundamentals, and that's why he's been so frustrated on the sideline. I've seen him walking up to the receivers, telling them, hey, I can't make plays for you. You got to do it yourself. It's those little things, the fundamentals, is what Clemson has not been able to execute on today.
High expectations, stay consistent to your job, all the things they continue to preach every day here. They've struggled today with that.
Once again, Watson has no receiver to find, but he is dragged down, and there are 2 penalty markers that come out.
Well, he got a horse collar and a face mask, it looked like, on the play. That was a dangerous play for Deshaun Watson.
Terrace Lewis dragged him down. Let's get our referees, Danny Short.
Personal foul, horse collar, number 20 on the defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Lewis was number 3 on his team in tackles a year ago. Watson doesn't like what he sees, so he's going to try to create. There's the horse collar, and those are the ones they're trying to get out of the game because it so exposes what's going on down the field. You see the defenders, here you go, covered. That's why Watson pulled the ball down. Boy, you got to give Troy a ton of credit the way they're playing defense.
Watson 1st and 10. That's more Troy defense as Ray McLeod was met rudely and will lose one. Tyquay Russell's number 10.
Well, Dillard, number 7, is rushing the passer. He makes Watson wait just a little bit to get the ball out, and then the ability to rally to the football for Troy, impressive.
2nd and 11. Watson has the time through the hands of his receiver at midfield, McLeod. And Cameron Melton was defending McLeod right behind him.
Yeah, the problem for Clemson is they can't run the ball. They're really struggling running the football, which sets up everything. This is a team that likes to power run the football with Gallman and Watson as their featured ball carriers. Troy's taking that away from them, and now are dropping 7 off into coverage, and are making it tough to get anybody open.
Just 46 total rushing yards in the game for the Tigers. They want to throw here. Going deep to a receiver. And it was Williams who had beaten 2 defenders, but the pass was just too far. Let's go to our studios, check in on Pitt and Penn State.
Our Hardy studio update takes us to Heinz Field, and Coach, it's Penn State's Saquon Barkley.
All 28 of their points scored by Saquon. There they punch it in from the 1-yard line.
Pitt still on top, though, 35-28. Guys, James Conner with over 100 rushing yards. Tom, Dave, back to you.
Katie, thank you. Troy's going to get the football back. Deshaun Watson is connected on only 2 of his last 10 passes. Rookard is going to watch that one and go out of bounds.
Well, this is an ongoing battle that Dabo Swinney's had with Teasdale, the punter. And they're having a discussion right now along the sideline as well.
27-yard punt by Teasdale. And we'll be back after a word from your local ACC station. Well, here's a look at our Haviland offensive back and rookie player of the week. And there he is, DeAndre Francois, freshman quarterback, Florida State.
Tom, so impressive last week. Slow start against Ole Miss, down 28-6. He throws a touchdown pass right at the end of the half. That spurred him on to an amazing performance. You see the most yards by an FSU player in his collegiate debut. Go back and think how many really good players have played as freshmen at Florida State, and DeAndre Francois better than all those guys. What a great debut by the young quarterback.
Through 3 TDs today so far against Charleston Southern, 49-6. Florida State leads in the 3rd, trying to win their 22nd straight at home. That's the best in the football bowl subdivision. That's a 5-yard play for Troy.
Jurgen with the tackle, and that was a huge play by Richard Jurgen, the sophomore defensive end. Had he not made that tackle, Chun was off to the races. He was going to be running with a full head of steam with only a corner in front of him. Good play by the young defensive end there. Well, you kind of sense that Clemson's kind of hanging on by their fingernails right now. Nothing really going their way.
Defense responds against Chun. They force him back, and he loses 2 on the 2nd down play.
Shut the door. Ben Boulware, the big linebacker, is going to shut all of the gaps down, and they get a tackle for loss. So 4 Silvers into a conversion situation, and neither team has been very good in this situation. 1 for 10 on 3rd down.
Whistle stopped the play. There's a flag out.
False start. 54 on the offense. 5 yards. 3rd down.
Kristen Crowder, another freshman, big freshman, 6'3", 323 pounds. Out of Carrollton High School in Carrollton, Georgia. Coach Brown said he wanted to play all his offensive line. That meant his backup O-line as well. Wanted to get them all in the game, and he's done that. And they've not stepped down 1 iota. They've played competitive all the way through.
8 penalties for 70 yards against Troy. It's now 3rd and 12. Anderson.
Well, you can't understand why Coach Edenfield would maybe run the draw again. This is the 2nd, 3rd and long situation this half. They've gone draw. you kind of understand why. Their defense is playing at a high level. Now you begin to, as you close down onto the fourth quarter with just a little over 4 minutes left, you kind of start thinking about, hey, we can win this game if we don't do something to screw it up.
Troy had a 4th and 1 play in the first half, and Fry went for 66 yards and a touchdown.
They've been McLeod was close on the last return to breaking it out. This is one that Troy is really going to have to cover.
McLeod at his 21. Again, flags come out. Stop the play. Looks like that play clock has elapsed.
On the offense, 5 yards, 4th down.
You know, Tom, they've used both punt scenarios. They've used the conventional punt where it comes back and he kicks it. They've also used the rugby style. The rugby style has worked for them. The one where they punt it straight away, McLeod's got room to return. I would consider using rugby style. You may not get as much yardage out of it, but McLeod didn't get a chance to return it.
If you are just joining us, it is 13-10 Clemson. It should be 20-10. Ray McLeod, who is going to get away from this one. Where is he? You watch it bounce down the sideline and continue to roll inside the 15.
Now
there's a flag out. The ball's at the 11.
The ball was touched by a Troy coverage man, batted back into the field.
Now, the reason I said it should be 20-10, Ray McLeod returned a punt in the first half, 75 yards, but purposely dropped the football as he was crossing the goal line. So the return was nullified and the ball was awarded to Troy. I think it's Tyquay Russell who did touch that ball on the sideline, but the officials will try to sort that out.
Looks like a penalty that's going to go against Clemson.
Illegal batting.
No, there he is. Okay.
On the kicking team, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
On the kicking team, should go the other way. Should go against Troy.
All right, Dave, get your tickets for the 2016 Dr. Pepper ACC Football Championship game. Available now as a 4-pack that includes 4 game tickets, 4 ACC football hats. For prime ticket and hospitality options, become a member of the ACC Football Queen City Club. A sellout last year for Clemson in North Carolina. Won by the Tigers in that title game in Charlotte on December 5th. 45-37. They went on to win the Orange Bowl against Oklahoma and come up just short against Alabama in the national championship game.
I think that Coach Sweeney wants Coach Sweeney is trying to get some definition as to what was the penalty. You didn't mark anything off, and you pointed against Clemson, and it wasn't obviously against Clemson. It was an illegal batting of the ball by the Troy coverage man. And Coach Sweeney wants some definition as to why you didn't penalize Troy.
Well, as we wait for this clarification, keep in mind that Coach Sweeney is 46-6 in his career as the head coach here at Memorial Stadium and has never lost a home opener. 7-0. 76-27 in his career as the head coach for the Tigers. They're going to leave the ball right there at about the 22-yard line.
Let's see if Clemson tries to get back to running the football. 7-man box for Troy. Let's see how they handle it.
Watson still has it. Unable to turn the corner and spilled out of bounds.
Well, Clemson's inability to run the football was apparent from the start. They have not been able to move Troy off the spot. Troy has rallied to the football at every opportunity and done an excellent job of limiting a Clemson offense that averaged about 240 yards a game a year ago. Just 46 yards rushing on 17 carries. They've done an excellent job against the Clemson running attack.
2nd and 10. Watson. Miscommunication with Mike Williams, who never turned to see the release of that football.
Well, when you get in a situation like this where you're the favored team and you've had success and things start going against you a little bit, you have a tendency to begin to press a little bit and try to make some things happen as opposed to just doing the simple stuff. They're not doing the simple things, running pass routes, catching the football, throwing to the right people, and more importantly, blocking Troy up front.
Watson just 2 of his last 11 pass attempts. This is 3rd and 10 for the Tigers with a 4-receiver set. Watson. Incomplete at the 42. Thompson, the intended receiver. Witherspoon had the coverage. It's going to bring a fourth down.
Yeah, this is really close as to whether Witherspoon gets there. Dillard again with pressure. Quarterback getting batted around. Let's see how quickly does Witherspoon get there before the ball. Boy, it's a bang-bang play. I can see why they may not have called that. Pretty good play by Witherspoon in the back end to close as the ball arrived.
Crowd wanted a penalty marker. There was none coming. Teased all the punt. Sedarius Ruckert at his 38-yard line to receive. Ruckert backpedals to the 29 and up to about the 35-yard line. 48-yard punt. It's a 5-yard return. Back to our Charlotte studios. We update Pitt and Penn State.
Our Hardee's update takes us back to that heated in-state rivalry. James Conner trying to get up the right side. Ball pops out. He fumbles. Penn State takes the ball all the way down, sets up this 38-yard field goal. 35-31. Pitt still on top, but Penn State closing the gap. Tom, Dave.
Katie, thank you. That rivalry goes back to 1893, and it's great to see number 24 back in uniform, Dave.
Well, it is. 2014, as you mentioned, Player of the Year. Good to see him back. Knee injury, the cancer, but, he'd be the first guy to tell you he can't fumble a football in that situation.
Silver's pass is complete in the flat. Clemson closes on Douglas. Maybe a hard-fought 1 yard for Douglas on the catch.
And you see why Coach Edenfield offensively for Troy on those 3rd and long situations hadn't forced the issue. They've run a couple of draws. Now they're looking to try to move the chains here a little bit against the stingy Clemson defense.
Silvers works quickly, gets rid of it. Too far for his receiver. Again, Douglas arm in arm with Van Smith, the sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina, on the coverage for Clemson.
Again, Silver's just not able to get comfortable in the pocket to be able to stand in there and throw. This is a very accurate passer for Troy. I think Jalen Williams was all over it.
Our 1st and 10 line brought to you by the North Carolina Education Lottery, celebrating their 10th anniversary and over $4 billion raised for education. Here comes 3rd and 9. The officials have stepped in for just a moment. Silvers off with a big rush. It was batted down, and then Silvers hit it to make sure it was going to be incomplete.
Looked like maybe Chris Register, number 45, was able to get his hands in the air and bat the ball away. Again, another one of those guys they rotate in on this defensive front. Clemson comes with pressure. They're trying to bring more than Troy can block. And if you can't get there, elevate, get your hands up high. Register 45, going to put the big paw in the air and bat it away. And another 3rd down situation that Troy was not able to convert. Let's take a look at Ben Boulware. Oh boy, he just got jacked up on the blitz. That's Chun or Anderson, one of the two, the running backs. They hit Boulware under the chin and maybe twisted his ankle or something, Tom?
Dave, while they attend to Boulware, we'll go back to our Charlotte studios. There's more on Pittsburgh and Penn State.
Our Hardee's update does take us back to Pittsburgh. James Conner once again, Stan.
Katie, this is James Conner telling me and everybody else, I hear you on the Quadre Olison. This is the James Conner Show.
A 12-yard touchdown reception. He's got 2 TDs, 1 rushing, 1 reception, 115 yards total on the day. 42-31, Pitt on top.
James Conner had a receiving TD and a rushing TD last week in the win against Villanova also, as they still keep an eye on Boulware.
Well, last time we went and talked to those guys in the studio. We were talking about Conner fumbling the ball. Now he's pounding one in the end zone. What's going on?
42-31. Pittsburgh has the lead. Those teams haven't played since 2000 when the Panthers won at Old Three Rivers Stadium, rather. Boulware,
yeah, and this is the leader of the defense. Now we talk about all the young players that are playing on the defensive front. Carlos Watkins, the one guy up there, but Boulware is kind of the glue that kind of keeps it all together. Has a little crazy side to him, which you got to have if you play linebacker.
And you mean that in the best possible way, Dave.
But,
you know, remember what he wore to the media day in Charlotte, North Carolina a few weeks before the start of the season. He had some high fashion threads on at that particular event.
Let's see what happens in here. He gets just jacked up. It's a big-time block by Anderson, the fullback. It looked like he just twisted the ankle as he fell to the ground.
McLeod wants the fair catch, and he comes up and makes it at the 34. 31-yard punt from Kay. Now there is
a flag along the sideline at Troy.
Yep.
Boy, what a nice job by Ray McLeod to come up and catch that ball. That is not easy to do right there.
Dave, what's going on in that conversation right there? You got the young man McLeod and Dabo.
Just encouraging him. He's talking about, see, hey, that's a good job. It's a great play right there. Get that idea of what you made, the mistake you made in the first half, get that out of his mind. Because he's going to have another opportunity in this game to return a kick that could be the difference.
Now McLeod had returned a punt in the first half, 75 yards, but did drop the ball prior to going in the end zone on purpose, by the way. He was over on the bench, feeling very despondent about the situation. His teammates come over and provided a lot of support in the first half for Ray Ray.
Continuous blocking while the player is going out of bounds. Now number 2 on the receiving team. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Well, number 2, and you always get double numbers. Mark Fields, who plays a lot of corner for this team. I'm assuming he's playing on special teams. It might be Mark Fields who was flagged for the call. Can't block. Once a player, the gunner, they call them gunners, once they run down, once they go out of bounds, you can't block them out of bounds. And it's their responsibility to get immediately back onto the field.
Watson will roll the pocket. That pass complete. Ray McLeod up to the 35. 16 yards on the plate. He did a lot of the work.
Move the quarterback. You're having a tough time blocking for him. Get him out of the pocket. Give him a throw to the sideline. Give one of his big timers a chance to make a play.
First down for the Tigers. Watson, creative. Cut down at the 48. He jumps up. He wanted a little more out of that play. Did get 14 and another first down.
Yeah, all of a sudden this looks like Clemson offensively, and looks like Junior Nankande still down. He was the guy that made the tackle on Deshaun Watson.
Troy player shaken up.
Nankande is the transfer from North Carolina, played in Vic Koning's defense at North Carolina, playing for Vic again. Vic talked about him in the highest regards. Great leader. Been fun to have him back in the fold as far as Vic Koning's fold, as far as calling defense. He plays that defensive end position. It's been good today. Coming in on the backside. See where, oh, he took the heel of the shoe right on the chin of Nankande there. Let's go down to Roddy.
Arch, we saw Ben Boulware come off the field. It looked like the right ankle they were taking a look at. They've got a big medical tent over here on the Clemson sideline that he's gone into. But I'll keep an eye out to see what they decide to do with him. And an update on Junior Nankande coming soon as well.
I'm assuming your press credential doesn't get you into that part of the building right there. So I guess you can't go in.
You would be correct on that one, Arch. They ushered me away pretty quick.
So Nankande comes out. McGee, number 11, is in. Right near midfield, it's Arteta Scott. Boy, there is no gain, Dave.
It's just a good play defensively. They show screen left. They flush the offensive line left, making Troy think that's the way the ball's going to go, and then they screen back the other way, and Troy's just sitting there at home and they've been really impressive defensively in staying at home and doing what they're supposed to do.
2nd and 10 for the Tigers, leading by 3. That pass complete. First down and more up the middle of the field, and Ray McLeod inside the 30 as Melton dragged him down 20 yards on the pickup for the Tigers.
Slant to the wide side of the field, corner playing outside technique, just doesn't close in time. Good after throw from Deshaun Watson.
Watson working quickly. McLeod again on the edge inside the 25. Demetrius Kane with a tackle and 7 yards. And Ray McLeod will go to that sideline for a breather.
Boy, they're playing at the tempo they want to play. This is Clemson's tempo here. Ray McLeod really has stepped up here in the second half for him.
Watson, complete. Thompson inside the 10. Now Thompson slow to get up.
What a huge hit by Chris Witherspoon. Chris Witherspoon came over and dropped the hammer on that seam route. Number 3, the safety flowing to the eyes of the quarterback, and he's going to get the ball out with the big hit in the middle of the field.
Pass ruled incomplete, and they are still looking at Travion Thompson, who made the catch and then got popped.
Remember, it was Witherspoon that made the play on 3rd down in the last series of downs, where he came in and made the big hit in the middle of the field that we saw was a bang-bang play, but it was ultimately determined that he was on time and got Clemson off the field.
Thompson's a sophomore from Durham, North Carolina, as we go to the studio.
Thanks, Tom. Our Hardee's update takes us out to East Carolina. Last play of the game, Stan. NC State has a chance.
With everything they could do route combination-wise, why do you throw the ball in the middle of the field? You must question the decision-making of the quarterback or the man that wears the big headset getting the big check.
Yeah, as you can see, time runs out. The final in East Carolina, 33-30. NC State can't pull it out, Tom.
Katie, thank you.
Wow, how about Scotty Montgomery's team, former offensive coordinator at Duke?
Virginia Tech will be the opponent for East Carolina in a couple of weeks. Virginia Tech is playing Tennessee at Bristol Motor Speedway later today.
Well, that's East Carolina, even though Scotty Montgomery now taking the controls there. Coach Ruff's team used to win pretty regularly coming into the ACC as well. So East Carolina, big-time program.
Training and medical staff still attending to Travion Thompson, number 1. Appeared to have made the catch, and then that ball was jostled loose by the hit by Chris Witherspoon defensively for Troy, with now just 47 seconds to go in the 3rd. And that is Ben Boulware. A serious wrap on the right ankle and crutches as Thompson is able to walk off of the field under his own strength, although being accompanied by the medical and training staff.
Well, the offense has had a tough time today against Troy. But you look at last year's offense, and there was no struggling going on. You just look at the numbers. I mean, where do you start? The 14 wins would be the one that Dabo Sweeney would point out. But they were prolific in every area. Run 60 plays so far today. You saw that the number of plays last year averaged 81.7, so well under that so far.
Watson takes off. Has a blocking down to the 15-yard line for Deshaun Watson. 9-yard play and a first down for the Tigers.
The best run of the game, Deshaun Watson. This is the designed run for Deshaun Watson, and he did a lot of this a year ago, and I felt like that if they got back into this, it's going to be part of their power running game that's going to have to bring him back.
This is Dye. Head down at the 10. Only 20 seconds to go in this quarter as Ruckert made the tackle. The Tigers now, Dave, up to a total of 299 yards of total offense in this game.
That was a good run right there by Dye. Made the defender miss in the hole. So I think Clemson going to get one off here as we wind down.
They will snap it. Give it to Dye up the middle, and that will be the last play of the 3rd quarter. Just 2 yards on the play and a 3rd down play coming up for the Tigers. 2 yards on the play and a 3rd down play coming up for the Tigers. We are going to the 4th. Big surprise in Death Valley. Troy is hanging tough. 13-10. Clemson has the lead. 3rd quarter stats are brought to you by the North Carolina Education Lottery, celebrating 10 years and more than $4 billion raised for education. Learn more at nc-educationlottery.org.
Now take your hat off to the defense. 4 for 26 on 3rd down. The two teams, 6 takeaways by the defense. Both defenses have stood tall today.
Third down and 2 as we start the 4th. Watson wants it. Puts his head down. Appears to have enough for the first down as he went for 4 yards. And it is 1st and goal, Clemson.
Now this is power running game. We saw this all last year with a pull player and get in front of Deshaun Watson. He'll hesitate for a moment, and then it's straight downhill with the big quarterback.
2nd, 3rd down converted on this drive, matching as many as they had in the entire game. toward the end zone, toward the goal line, and just short is Tyshawn Day. Dye tried to get to the end zone, just came up a little bit short.
How about the trust they have with Dye in the game, Wayne Gallman not in the game, 1,500-yard rusher a year ago. Dye 2 touchdowns a year ago rushing the football. He'll stay in.
Watson. Dye. Short again. Nankande has the football.
Play was blown dead at the half-yard line as Nankande came rushing out of there with a football. Nankande going to go ahead and finish the play, go ahead and run in the end zone. I got to admit, I didn't hear a whistle right there. We were listening for one. He certainly was stopped. Ball out. Wow. Whew. Jumbo package in the game as Clemson likes to bring in. Boy, the sideline for Troy wants that play reviewed. You see Coach Brown. He wants a review on that play. Felt like the ball was out. Now the jumbo package is the freshman Lawrence, the defensive lineman Lawrence, Dexter Lawrence.
Timeout, Troy. That is the first yard timeout of the half.
And this timeout is simply for Coach Brown to get some explanation as to why was that not a fumble, and why is it not being reviewed. That's the conversation going on right now.
Well, as the play was finishing, Seth Callaway, number 94 for Troy, got in on the mix. And if anybody knocked it loose, it might have been him as he came in late. Take a look at this here, Dave, from the end zone view.
Well, there's no question the ball pops out. The whole story is when did the whistle get blown? You see the ball pop out, and Nankande's just going to reach over, grab it, and take off. There's so much noise here in the crowd, you can't hear the whistle. The official to the near sideline. Yeah, the official to the near sideline was adamant about the fact that he had blown the whistle. So that was the explanation. And although Coach Brown has to accept it, I'm not sure he likes it. 2 defensive linemen right here, Watkins and Lawrence, to lead the play.
3rd and goal for the Tigers. Watkins to the end zone. It's a touchdown. Christian Wilkins makes the catch in the end zone.
Wilkins talked about how he said, you know what, I like blocking, I like being on offense. I can catch the ball. We know he can. We saw him catch one in the semifinal a year ago on a fake punt that resulted in a 31-yard play. Well, here's the little fake, thinking jumbo coming straight at you with a power run game. Watkins going to slip out into the flat. You know what? At 310, nice little sidestep to avoid the defender there to get into the flat.
Bugle extra point.
Well, Clemson finally is on the board here in the second half, and who knew you got to lean on a defensive guy. Christian Wilkins shoves it in the end zone, and the Tigers increase their lead.
Mellow Mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
All those trophies in the Clemson football offices, and that includes the national semifinal last year at the Orange Bowl, December 31st, and the win against number 4 Oklahoma, 37-17. Outscored Oklahoma 21-0 in the second half. This a little bit different story today, Dave, against the Troy Trojans.
Yeah, I give Troy a ton of credit that they've been able to hang in here against the number 2 team in the country. Vaunted offense and a defensive struggle.
There will not be a return off of that kickoff. Early in the fourth, go to the sidelines, check in with Roddy. Your spotlight was Wilkins, and he delivered, Roddy.
He has delivered on both sides of the football now. He does everything you want a defensive lineman to do. Check out him here. He sheds the block and then gets in on the run play. When he's not able to get to the quarterback on a short drop, he gets his hands up in the air, tips the ball, and creates an interception. He's made Brandon Silver's life very uncomfortable back there at quarterback. And then you see him on the offensive side of the football as well, scoring the touchdown. He's college football's J.J. Watt, Arch.
Well, he's the first defensive lineman in Clemson history to catch a touchdown pass, Roddy.
Now he works on defense against Silvers and Troy. This is Flakes on the run for Troy as we go to our Charlotte studio.
Thanks, Tom. We head to Heinz Field for our Hardee's update, and Penn State making it back.
Saquon Barkley accounting for all 5 of Penn State's touchdowns.
And then it was a 2-point conversion. You don't think they're going to do it, but look, Coach, he scrambles around. He gets it in there. 42-39. Pitt's still on top, but Penn State making it close. Tom, Dave?
What a game. Yeah, thanks for that update. We'll keep an eye on that one and on this one. That is deflected on the pass from Silvers.
Wilkins.
Yeah, it is Wilkins. 42 in orange and purple.
Good coverage down the field this time for Clemson. Made Silvers pull the ball down. He wants to shoot it down the field. Clemson take William, go through his progression. Okay, I got to throw my check down. Let me get it out to my check down. Right now, Wilkins bats it down with the big right hand.
Wilkins catching the second TD pass of the game for Deshaun Watson. He now has 52 in his career, second most behind Taj Boyd in Clemson football history. 3rd and 8 for Troy. Just 1 of 12 in this situation in the afternoon. Silver slings it out of bounds, looking for DeAndre Douglas.
Excellent coverage again down the field for Clemson. Kayvon Wallace, one of the extra DBs that comes in their nickel package, that time dime package, had 6 defensive backs on the field.
Ray McLeod to receive this punt from his own 33.
Kind of like you got a sense he would like one opportunity here to flip the script, wouldn't you?
A little bit of room at the 24-yard line, absorb some contact, and then drag down at the 25. It was a big punt, almost 5 seconds on the hang time and 50 yards from the foot of K.
Well, last time Clemson had the ball, it resulted in a touchdown. They had to look for a defensive guy to make a play. Let's see if the Tigers with the ball can find an offensive guy to score. Working against Dondrell Harris, the linebacker. He dropped the flipper on him. And another Troy defender down, grabbing the hamstring area. Look at the flipper come out. Wow. 215-pound quarterback. I sense that there was a little bit of frustration in Deshaun Watson's run right there.
Dave, that player down is Terrace Lewis, senior from Linden, Alabama.
I just think that this is the fact that they've been on the field as much as they have been, and just you see him kind of reaching back for that right hamstring. Hopefully it's just cramps for him and he's not suffered any kind of muscle injury or anything. This Troy team is going to give the Sun Belt Conference some nightmares on defense.
They went 3-5 in Sun Belt play last year, but based on this performance, a promising near future. These schools just about 300 miles apart, meeting for the second time in the history of the programs. 2011, Clemson won it handily, although it was close at halftime. Same situation today, and now they're separated by 10 points. Watson over the middle. That ball came out. There's a flag on the field also. Incomplete pass as Rooker laid the hit on Jordan Leggett. And now we've got 2 penalty markers.
Tell you what, these 2 safeties now hit you. Rooker and Weatherspoon are dropping the hammer on these throws over the middle.
Ineligible man downfield. Number 74 in the offense. That penalty's declined. Second down.
John Simpson, the freshman left guard downfield. Fake the toss. Here comes the pressure on Watson. And then on the back end, watch Rooker knock this ball out. This is going to be a completion, but because of the hit of the safety, Ball out. And that's a guy that was a Mackey Award finalist a year ago in Jordan Leggett, and who many feel like might be potentially the best tight end in the nation.
Leggett had 8 TD catches last year to tie a school record at that position. With a delay now, and Gallman. That ball came out. He got twisted around. The ball came out, and he covered it. And it's good enough for a first down. We'll give him 11 on that rush by Gallman.
Gallman's one of those guys that just kind of gets the job done. Not great speed. He's not gigantic, but he just does everything well. He's got good body motion. He can dead leg you, meaning just kind of gives you leg and pulls it away from you. He did it on that play. Fun guy to watch play.
The previous play is under review.
While we're reviewing it, Gallman recovered it. Going to run the draw play to Gallman. Watch this little kind of gives you the leg right there, and he's going to step out of it. Now, they're checking to see if the knee touched the ground. That's what they're looking at. I apologize. See if that knee touched the ground. Roddy, this is a guy I know you like a lot, Wayne Gallman.
A lot, Arch. I like him because he's got good speed, and you mentioned it. Some of the things that he can do, he can dead leg you, he can run with power, he runs with good vision. When we talked to offensive coordinator Tony Elliott yesterday, he said that he had a decision to make, whether he was going to come back for this year or stay for another, or go to the NFL, And the difference is that now his decision to come back, he prepares like a pro every day. He wanted to catch the ball a lot better this year, and his eyes are a big reason why he's had why the offense as a whole has had less tackles for loss so far in this game. So again, Wayne Gallman, a guy I like really a lot, and I think he'll have a big future at the next level.
Well, single season record rushing over 1,500 yards, then the single season total offense record there, I believe at over 1,700 yards. But they're trying to find the spot as we kind of continue to wait for the officials here. He obviously was down with the right knee. I'm going to give him high praise, Tom. He reminds me of Marcus Allen. Now, he's not going to win the Heisman Trophy, but he looks like him. He runs up high. He's got that little shake to him. Not great speed, but you can't seem to catch up with him. I think this guy's got a future at the next level.
He will graduate in December. 13 times in his career he's gone over 100 yards rushing. If he can do it 3 more times, he will set the Clemson school record in that category. Right now, Tigers just want to secure a victory. Again, this is under review. We're looking for the spot because Gallman's knee hit before the fumble, at least according to the replay. But again, the officials, and led today by Danny Short, our referee, who's on the headset, are trying to figure out the situation. We waited at least 5 minutes for the play with Ray McLeod. Officially, it was 7 minutes and 10 seconds on that review.
This will be a training tape for what not to do as far as how long it's supposed to take, I think, in the future. I think is what we're going to see out of this.
Again, the Ray McLeod.
Glad we've been able to be a part of it.
Yes.
It's been kind of nice to be a part of it.
The McLeod play I'm referencing was his punt return in the first half, 75 yards to the goal line. He purposely dropped the football as he went in.
Yeah, he did throw it out of his hand. I think that.
After further review, the runner's knee was down at the 23-yard line. 3rd down.
Lot to sort out there. They wanted to sort out where the clock was supposed to be and what was the down and distance.
23 seconds.
Yeah, to get the clock fixed. A lot going on. So good job of getting it fixed. But Troy's had a tough time with Ray McLeod. He's down here at the bottom. This is just long enough where you're probably not going to run the football. So McLeod's been an issue for him in that quick screen scenario.
3rd down for the Tigers. Call it 3rd and 4. Need to get to that 19. Watson wants the end zone. Touchdown Tigers. Deion Kane. Back of the end zone for Clemson.
That's a big time catch by Kane. Remember, Dabo referred to the fact that he may have dropped one earlier in the game. I thought it was underthrown by Deshaun Watson. I thought this was the best throw Deshaun's made today. This is a throw where only his guy could get it Excellent coverage really by Roundtree. He's in good position, but it's just a better throw. And then a really good job of completing the play by Kane at the back end with a catch.
Bugel's extra point makes it 27-10.
Hey, Clemson, where you been? Finally, it's Watson to Kane, and the Tigers are in control.
Also streaming live on the ACC.com and on the official ACC mobile app. ACC Network now available in 88 million TV households.
Wow. That makes sure your hair looks good.
Watson, the #2 team in the country. We are now pulling away from Troy. This is Fry. Short of the 15. Our Duluth Trading Company, hardest working player. It's going to be Van Smith on that defense. The Tigers with those 10 tackles for Clemson.
Well, they talked about how many guys that had to be replaced in the secondary. Tankersley, the only returning starter, and Van Smith is a guy that stepped in there and done an outstanding job. You saw the number of tackles. He had 6 a week ago against Auburn. So he's sliding right in and playing that safety spot. Not the biggest guy in the world, but he's a guy that loves to come hit you.
Sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina. Silver's pass, that's complete. Out beyond the 20-yard line. Let's go to Charlotte and get that final update on Pitt and Penn State.
Well, it's a final for our Hardy's update in Pittsburgh. Ryan Lewis, watch this. Right spot, right time, comes up with a huge interception. Final score 42-39. Coach, what's the impact of this win?
Bragging rights in the state of Pennsylvania. Go to the Pitt Panthers. Where does it impact you? In recruiting.
Pitt at Oklahoma State next week, guys.
Tom, that's not the first time that Pat Narduzzi had seen Penn State as a defensive coordinator. Was 3-2 as a defensive coordinator at Michigan State. So he knew that Penn State was going to be a tough out. Congratulations to him and the Pitt Panthers on a big win.
So now 2nd and 3 after the penalty. That's Anderson turning his way upfield, and he's got enough for a first down. He's out beyond the 25-yard line. That's 7 yards for Anderson.
Well, they got 2 big bangers at running back. Anderson's 250 pounds. He only carried the ball 10 times a year ago, but now has already got 10 carries on the year. And, of course, Jordan Chun, 235-pound back. 2 big bangers bringing the ball at
you. Just the 1 touchdown today for Troy by Jabir Fry on a 4th down play.
And we talked about Van Smith, our hardest working man. He just came over and hit one of those big backs and sent him head over tea kettle.
That was Anderson who went airborne after the contact.
Yeah, Van Smith with the hit.
2nd and 3 for Troy. Anderson again, as we're down to 8.5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, but this one at halftime was close. Not really decided till early in the 4th. When Christian Wilkins caught a touchdown pass, the first defensive lineman to do so in Clemson football history. And there's been a lot of history here in Clemson, South Carolina. They first started playing football in 1896. Today they seek their 704th victory ever for this program. It appears that they are on their way up 27-10 after beating Auburn a week ago. Completion to Douglas. Douglas into Clemson territory in a first down with 13 yards on that play.
Well, I think some will evaluate this game, and Troy deserves a ton of credit for hanging in, but most will evaluate it as Clemson's not as good as they're ranked, and I don't think that's the case at all. I think that they're trying to work new players in that are playing big moments and big roles on this team, and once they settle in, they'll be fine. Good catch there again by it was a Thompson coming to the inside with Tankersley right on his back. Good catch. They've made a ton of contested catches today as Troy receivers. We talk so much about their defense that they've made some nice plays on the perimeter with their outside guys.
There's a whistle prior to this play, Dave. Well, we sort that out. Can tell you that the Tigers have won 41 in a row at home against an unranked opponent.
The false start, 5 yards, second down.
Emmanuel Thompson is 6'1", 210 pounds, and Tankersley is going to go for the ride. I wonder if he had a ticket for that ride.
Giddy up.
He met the height limit evidently to get on that ride, and he was able to get the big fella on the ground.
Silvers just heaves that one as the pressure was coming. Had to get rid of the football. Velez was the intended receiver.
He came with a blitz that time and really timed it up perfectly, and Silvers just had to get it out quickly. But for Coach Brown, you didn't win the game, but I think this was a victory for his team. He wasn't sure how they were going to hang in. They really crushed Austin Peay last week, overmatched them. But they've come in here and played at a really high level. There's got to be a lot of excitement as they get ready to go into their Sun Belt part of their conference, or their conference play, that this is a team that maybe can contend.
Silvers wants to go deep. Flag comes out. In fact, there are 2 of them. As the play went along that far sideline, Salim was the target. Mark Fields was defending for the Tigers, and again 2 penalty markers.
Pass interference. Defense number 2. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Yeah, Fields really doesn't look back for the ball. He's kind of got that arm bar kind of pushing him. Can't do that. Can't can't allow the receiver. He's got to be able to come back to the ball. As long as you're looking back and you've got that hand out and you're touching the receiver, that's fine. But as soon as you impede his way to get back to the football, flag's going to come out.
1st and 10, just over 7 minutes to go from Memorial Stadium. Silvers goes underneath. It's going to be Anderson. Down to the 22 as we go to the sidelines, and Roddy Jones.
Tom, you and Archer talked about the performance of Troy today. Their rallying cry this year is rebuilding the wall. This is a program that won the Sun Belt Championship each year from 2006 to 2010, and head coach Neil Brown is looking to return them to their former glory.
I think they're on their way, Roddy. I mean, this defense, really the backbone. They just got to make sure they don't make mistakes offensively. And Clemson's defense is elite, so they're going to force some turnovers. But Coach Brown has got to take a lot out of this. This is going to be a really good teaching film for him to get his guys ready for conference play.
They've only been a Football Bowl subdivision participant for 15 seasons. They've joined the Sun Belt back in 2004.
I'll tell you what, the addition of Georgia Southern and App State, that's a pretty good conference now. And you got those 2 teams that have stepped up out of the FCS level to join.
Troy went to a bowl game back in 2010. That's Anderson who gets tripped up. Nothing there.
We saw what Appalachian State almost did to Tennessee last week now. I mean, it's some good football played in the Sun Belt. We've seen it today.
It's going to be 150,000 people watching Tennessee and Virginia Tech tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway. In fact, Neyland Stadium in Tennessee can fit on the infield of Bristol Motor Speedway.
That's scary. I played in Neyland Stadium, and that baby's huge.
Big game for the Hokies. See if they can go 2-0 to start the season. Silvers down near the goal line, juggled, incomplete, but there are 2 flags. It was juggled by Thompson.
We talked about Silver's accuracy. This is as good a throw as he's made today. We talked about Deshaun's last throw. Look where he drops this one, right down the chimney chute, right on the money.
On the defense on the 25. Half the distance, automatic. First down.
Tankersley had that right arm back, and it looked like he was pulling on the left arm of Thompson. And that's where the flag came out. He's in really good position, just kind of pawing at him with that right hand. Crowd obviously didn't like it. Really well thrown ball by Brandon Silvers.
So the ball is at the 6. Now, Dave, there are 5.5 minutes to go in this game.
Yeah, a little challenge here now by Brent Venables. And I hear what you're saying. The game's not over. It's never over till 3 zeros are on the clock. But this is a challenge now for this Clemson defense to try to get a stop, force a field goal.
First and goal for the Trojans. Fry. Flags.
Jalen Williams, I think, got hold of the face mask, Tom.
Personal foul. Face mask. Number 30 on the defense. Half distance to the goal. Automatic. First down.
Number 30, Jalen Williams, is going to try to tackle him high, and he gets up and gets into that face mask against the big running back for Troy. I would advise, and I know you don't want to go low because you don't want to get kicked in the head, but by some of these DBs to try to tackle these big backs down low.
Williams has one of the 3 interceptions today for the Clemson Tigers. Silvers throws it to the end zone. That ball bouncing around on the turf, incomplete. That was Douglas on the slant.
A good play, Jadar Johnson, the safety. Another one of those guys that's had to step into a starting role with T.J. Green and J-Ron Purse in the National Football League. He played a lot of football a year ago. Played in all 15 games and was a factor, a part of that team that went to the national final. But now a starter. Made a nice play there.
Senior from Orangeburg, South Carolina. Now 2nd and goal.
I think the big back's going to get a carrying one at some point.
Silvers again to the end zone. That one knocked away. Looked like Thompson was back there for Troy, and Tankersley was defending for the Tigers.
Another well-thrown ball here by Silvers. Puts his guy up the bat. Tankersley just got a piece of it with his left hand that kept Thompson from reeling that one in. And here you go, 3rd and goal. Probably going to get 2 shots from Troy here to try to keep him out of the end zone.
The nose of the football is on the 2. And the crowd at Memorial Stadium is standing, although they may have to wait. Although
Clemson wants a timeout.
Yeah, definitely. Brent Venables was signaling for the timeout, and now it is granted.
And when Carlos Watkins at 6'3", 310 pounds starts signaling timeout, that's hard to miss, isn't it?
Here's our performance of the game. It's brought to you by your local Chevy dealers, and it involves number 42, Christian Wilkins. Touchdown. He has a touchdown. It came in the 4th quarter early, and they provided some separation for the Tigers against Troy today.
It was a lot of fun to talk to him, wasn't it, Tom? We got a chance to visit with a sophomore a year ago, and he knew there's a lot of expectation coming in. This is a highly recruited defensive lineman out of Massachusetts, and he came in knowing the expectations are where they are, and he slid from inside play, defensive tackle a year ago, to outside. Dodd, Lawson gone to the National Football League, so it's now his opportunity to play on the edge, and he played at a high level today.
Almost 80,000 fans turning out for the Tigers' home opener. And if this score stands, the Tigers can bring it home for victory on this Saturday. It would be 17 wins in a row at home. 2nd longest streak in the football bowl subdivision behind Florida State.
They're a couple of weeks away. They're going to get Georgia Tech on one of those. They play Georgia Tech on a Thursday night. They've got one of those weekends where those are tough too. You got to go to Atlanta and play Georgia Tech on a Thursday night here in a couple of weeks.
Florida State did win today, Dave. They beat Charleston Southern at home 52-8. Their next game is at Louisville.
Charleston Southern had a bit of a personnel problem in that game, from what I understand.
And it was reflected in the score. Again, a dominating performance.
Some of their kids were suspended for violating a couple rules.
3rd and goal from the 2.
Got to figure the big back touches it, doesn't he?
Anderson is the back to the left. They'll throw it in the end zone. It's a touchdown. DeAndre Douglas. So they did fake to Anderson into the end zone. A 2-yard TD toss from Brandon Silvers.
And what the play fake does is it pulls the defender that might be in the throwing lane, J.D. Davis, who's the linebacker. He's standing right there on the number 33. He can't get out underneath this route. Van Smith's playing outside, so the slant route is available to the inside. That's one of those ones where Van Smith's going to look at the film and say, wait a minute, I should have been up tighter, prevented him from getting inside. But a good execution by Troy. And so the Troy Trojans don't know that the game is over. And it's not. 5 minutes are left. We've got a local break. We'll be right back here on your ACC stations.
27-17, the Tigers by 10. ACC football presented by Mellow Mushroom as Troy just took it into the end zone on the catch by DeAndre Douglas, who now has 8 catches. That's a career high, and 71 yards, also a career high receiving for Douglas. Watson on the sideline watching.
Well, I got the hands team on the field now, Tom. You and I were talking about at the break. This has got to be an onside kick for Troy. They're down 2 scores, not going to get the ball back twice unless they create one for themselves in special teams right here. Hands team on the field for Clemson.
Yep, Bratcher Underwood left it for Kay. Fielded it midfield. Looked like Mike Williams, and it was. Well, this is a very special day here at Memorial Stadium as we commemorate the 50th anniversary of Howard's Rock and the players' touchdown on their way down the hill. We showed you at the top of the broadcast how exciting those 25 seconds are, but it's a great story. And here's the rundown. And Dave, this is my first time to witness a game here, and these are family members of Sam Jones, who brought the rock from Death Valley. He was in the class of 1919. He brought it to Coach Frank Howard, who used it as a doorstop. This is a very well-known story. And then he gave it to Gene Williman, who was the executive secretary of IPTE, the athletic booster organization here at Clemson, and he decided to mount that rock. Now, the first year they just mounted it. The next year they touched the rock, they rubbed the rock for good luck, and they've been doing it ever since. They did that in 1967 in the game against Wake Forest.
Well, really, the cool part of that story is that Coach Howard, he didn't want to be disrespectful. The guy brought the rock back, but the rock sat in his office forever, as you said, as a doorstop. Finally, he turned to him and said, "Hey, get this rock out of my office." I mean, they just get rid of this rock, and so it's now mounted, and now becomes one of the great moments in college football when the Tigers come down the hill.
Yeah, they mounted that in 1966 for a game against Virginia, and then the rubbing of the rock, the tradition started the following year in 1967 against Wake. We do have a player down for Troy. That is Terrace Lewis. Now he's up. You saw that Ben Boulware had to leave the game in the second half, Roddy. What's the update on Boulware?
Well, you guys saw the shot of him with crutches on the sideline. He's done for the game, obviously. It's a right ankle injury, but he is moving around on it, putting a little bit of weight on it. Crutches for precautionary measures, so we'll see going forward how serious it is.
Well, Roddy, every team, as you know, you and I both played, every team has a highlight film at the end of the year. I will guarantee you that the hit that Anderson put on Boulware is on the highlight film. Now, they're not going to win this game, but he dropped the hammer on Boulware on that blitz.
It was picture-perfect pass protection, Arch. As a former running back, I can really appreciate it when a running back sticks his nose up there on a linebacker.
That is Artavis Scott on the catch. Just to update you, Ben Boulware was taken to the locker room for further evaluation, so he is not on the Clemson sideline right now. It hasn't been for the last few minutes.
Well, let's hope that he can get back. South Carolina State comes in here next week. You'd imagine if he's banged up at all, he probably won't play. Get him ready for that Thursday night game I was talking about in Atlanta against Georgia Tech.
Tigers beat South Carolina State back in 2014, 73-7. They're the opponent. Next week it is Scott again, staying in bounds, and continues to drive forward inside the 25-yard line.
9 Troy Trojans were around Artavis Scott on this play. Scott's going to catch. It's just a quick screen to the outside. Now look how many maroon helmets are around Scott. There's 9 of them, and they finally get the wide receiver on the ground. Good gang tackling, but a heck of an effort by Artavis Scott.
12 yards on that play. 1st and 10 Tigers. Dye. It's down to the 16-yard line. Well, next Saturday, it's a great matchup. ACC football presented by Mellow Mushroom. The SEC meets the ACC. Vanderbilt and Georgia Tech, Bobby Dodd Stadium. We started off at noon with the ACC Blitz. And then at 12:30, we'll kick it off between Vandy and Georgia Tech. Watson scrambles to the right.
Ray McLeod lost where he was on the field, drifted out of bounds. That pass will be incomplete. Well, I'm excited, obviously, to see Georgia Tech potentially get back to who they were in 2014. A lot of injuries a year ago to their specialty people. Offensive line didn't play as well. Subsequently, Justin Thomas didn't play the way we saw him play when he had that record-setting year in 2014. Vandy is very stingy defensively here early in the year. It'd be a nice matchup between that Georgia Tech offense in Vanderbilt's defense.
Vanderbilt lost to South Carolina on a heartbreaking field goal at the end of regulation to start the season. They're playing Middle Tennessee today. Georgia Tech leads Mercer in the second quarter, 21-7. This is Dye, met at the 18 and toppled by Cameron Melton.
Another good open field tackle by a Troy Trojan defender. One-on-one on the outside. Melton comes up and makes the play against Dye. You're in one of these situations. You talk about one of the victories, maybe, and there's no moral victory in football, but Deshaun Watson's had to play the whole game. This was a game where I think they felt like Deshaun Watson might be in maybe the heart of hearts that Watson would be out of the game about a quarter and a half in, and they could play their other quarterbacks. Nobody's come in to play quarterback other than number 4.
Field goal from 34 yards away. (30-17), the number 2 team in the country late in the fourth.
I think from an execution standpoint, it looked like Clemson kind of got their stride a little bit. They started to run the football, thought they needed to get back to that. This did not, they only had 25 yards rushing at halftime. Were able to get back to that. That subsequently opened up some of their perimeter passing. And of course, Christian Wilkins got into the act. The defensive player catches a touchdown pass. But the power running game is something Clemson needed to get back to. And I thought it got Watson into a rhythm. Made a big time throw right there to Kane for the touchdown. But Troy has made Clemson play as hard as they could possibly play today to try to win this game.
That was 23 yards on that pass from Watson to Deion Kane, who only had 1 catch in the Auburn game for just a single yard, but a big one there.
And I didn't think Watson was overly sharp today. I mean, there's a lot of focus on Deshaun, obviously a lot of pressure, all the things that go on. What a great young man. 5 hours from graduating in the fall of his junior season. All the work he does off the field. 19 credit hours in his spring. 20 credit hours this summer is what this kid did from a school standpoint. And all the commitments that he has to make as a face of the Clemson program. Incredible.
Troy forced to fall on that short kick. Watson in the game, 292 yards passing and 3 touchdown passes. Anderson fell on that one for Troy. There's a schedule coming up for the Tigers. South Carolina State. It'll be the 4th all-time meeting between those teams, and Georgia Tech. The Georgia Tech game, Dave, on September 22nd is a Thursday, and then they got Louisville.
Well, the Thursday night game is in Georgia Tech, and Roddy, you can attest to this. Thursday night's kind of one of those bewitching nights to go in to play Georgia Tech on a Thursday night at Bobby Dye.
Josh Anderson on the run. Just to follow up, Dave, on that Georgia Tech game, September 22nd, the last regular season loss for Clemson at Georgia Tech came back in 2014. They have not won at Georgia Tech since 2003. So the Tigers have a little bit of history against them when they make that trip to Georgia Tech after playing South Carolina State next week.
Tankersley in perfect position right there. They really tried Tankersley today, the one returning veteran in the secondary. Had 5 interceptions a year ago, and he stood tall. He had 1 penalty, but other than that, poor Drake Tankersley has stood up tall in that corner spot. But after that on Thursday night against Georgia Tech, 10 days later, they have to take on one of the hottest teams in the country right now, and that's Lamar Jackson in Louisville, so it doesn't get any easier.
Louisville hosts Florida State this coming week. It's Douglas on the catch. Now we're inside of 2 minutes to go.
That's why many felt like Louisville had a chance to, obviously has a chance to affect what happens in the Atlantic Division of the ACC. They get Florida State and Clemson in the first month of the season. Most people feel like that October 29 matchup between Florida State and Clemson is going to decide it. Well, Louisville wants to have some say in that.
Since 2009, the winner of that game between Florida State and Clemson has gone on to take the Atlantic Division. That's incomplete. Just looking ahead, Dave, Clemson since 1989 has one win at Florida State, and that came in 2006. They have to go there on October 29th.
Well, this is the 20th game for Deshaun Watson where he has been the guy that's kind of started and finished the game. Okay, he's played 23 or 24 games, but this is the 20th one where he's been the guy. He's only been held under 2 touchdowns, accounting for 2 touchdowns twice, both by Florida State.
Watson will improve to 20-2 as a starter in a Clemson Tiger uniform with this win against Troy. Keep in mind, it was just a 3-point game at halftime. 13-10 was the lead for the Tigers. That is complete to Douglas. He's inside the 35.
Douglas has had a nice day for this Troy team. He's caught 10 passes now. Thought that seemed like we've called number 80's number a ton. He's made some contested catches. He's twisted and made some grabs that have been kind of out of range, but that catch radius is impressive.
Silver steps up. That pocket collapses. A low pass is caught at the 20-yard line by Thompson. There is a flag on the play, and Silvers is down at the 35.
Yeah, I didn't like the hit. The hit came in from number 12, Kayvon Wallace, the freshman defensive back, and he dove into Silvers' leg area. Kind of that knee area, that old, in the NFL they get that Brady rule where you're not supposed to dive into that lower area, and it's supposed to be part of the mix in college ball as well.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, block below the knees, after this to the goal, automatic first down.
Now Wallace is going to dive right into the lower area, lower leg area. It caught him kind of up on the thigh though, but it did expose that left knee to some potential serious injury. Right knee, actually. So probably a good call. As a former QB, I like that call. I don't like people diving into your legs and stuff.
Moves the ball down to the 9. Silver's pass down to the 1 for Thompson.
If Troy can punch this in, and they burn a timeout here to try to conserve some time, they punch this in, they're going to have a chance on an onside kick to get the ball back down 1 score. And we've been waxing poetic about the ACC and the schedules coming up, and all Troy's done is continue to play the game and move down into scoring position. Apologize to those Troy fans talking about ACC football when the Trojans are still balling. Just can't say enough about Neil Brown's team and how hard they've competed today. Say what you want to about Clemson making mistakes and not maybe necessarily playing as clean as they want to, but a lot of that was forced on them by Troy.
Troy played NC State to open the season last year and lost 49-21 in Raleigh. That was the first game of the year last season for Troy. They beat Austin Peay 57-17 before coming to Clemson, South Carolina today.
Well, dramatic non-conference difference in non-conference schedule for Troy this year than last year, where they played Wisconsin, played NC State.
Second and goal. Again, they use that play, angling the receiver into the end zone. Douglas on the catch. And there's a flag came out too.
Surely he didn't taunt. Be a huge mistake if he taunted, because that backs up the kickoff if you're Troy. I think that maybe there's some taunting that went on.
Ruling on the field is a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 80 on the offense, that'll be enforced on the kickoff.
Yeah, this is a mistake by Douglas. That's his 11th catch of the day. And it's a good catch. Van Smith's right on his back. Excellent catch, and just no reason to do this, because that's going to back your kickoff up way back, and you need an onside kick to try to get the chance to win this game.
Second TD catch for Douglas. And the second TD throw for Silvers. Extra point from Kay. You know, Clemson may win this game day, but a lot of people are going to look at this score and look at last week's score and say, what's our evaluation of Clemson through the first 2 weeks?
Well, and I think some of that's fair. They have not played as clean as we saw the Clemson team play a year ago, but I also think it's disrespectful to Troy. One, because they've played a really good ball game. Came in here, were not intimidated by the surroundings of playing in Death Valley or anything. They came in and played hard. I think it's also disrespectful to Auburn's defense. They're pretty good, and that's a tough place to win anyway. But there is something that when you look at Clemson a little bit, that there's some other guys that were in backup roles a year ago that are big-time players are being asked to step up and make some of those plays. You had some drop passes and maybe some blown assignments on the defensive side of the ball. The blocking was a little bit suspect from time to time. Again, don't want to take anything away from Troy, but Clemson's going to do a little soul-searching this next week as to where they're at.
You know, Troy just went 8 plays and 68 yards, Dave, and Douglas with his second TD catch of the game and of this half, and it is just a 6-point game.
Well, I can assure you that I expect Deshaun Watson to throw 53 passes in this game. But here we go.
Yeah, the onside kick must go 10 yards. Again, they use that misdirection. It is fielded inside the 35, and Kane came up with it.
A good play by Kane on this one. It was Mike Williams on the last one, so good execution by Clemson with the hands team on the field. There's a lot of talk about the onside kick against North Carolina in the ACC championship game. I'm sure that was a point of interest, or a point of concern, and certainly something they practiced heavily in the offseason and in camp.
So the Tigers just need to take 43 seconds off of the clock, and they will start the season 2-0. And they do not have to snap it again.
It was fun before the game watching Coach Brown talk with Dabo Swinney. Dabo Swinney's 47 years old, and you still think of him as a young man, and he is. 47's not old by any stretch of the imagination. But when you got a 36-year-old coach on the other side, it was kind of that old guy talking to the younger guy, but still two young guys talking, and a lot of energy between both these guys. Both the programs are in great shape with these two guys coaching.
What a football game. A lot closer than I think most people throughout the country thought this one would be. A 3-point lead for Dabo Swinney and the Tigers at halftime, and in the end, they win it 30-24 here at Memorial Stadium. For highlights and must-see moments from this game and others, check out theACC.com. Join us for the ACC Blitz powered by Ram Trucks next Saturday at noon, followed by the Mellow Mushroom Game of the Week, Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech. You've been watching coverage of Atlantic Coast Conference football on the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports.